Okay, so we are now live, bitches. We're gonna get started in just a minute, guys. Yeah. Whoa. Modeling School. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Fanboy Modeling School. I am the Fat Mantis, and I'm here with
your man Steve. Real name, no gimmicks. Your friend to the end.
And together we are the Fanboy Modeling School, hitting up all the nerd, pop culture, and shenanigans you need to know about this week. So we basically do a weekend review, or should I say week start review, of everything you don't know about, and we're going to school you on.
Yes. We're better than everyone else except for the people that are here in attendance tonight.
Oh, I love them. And we got my boy Xiao Lin. He says Apartheid Clyde has been going crazy since he bought Twitter.
I love the apartheid part.
I'm a huge. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. No, well, must guy. I'm a must guy.
Mantis, how the hell are you, man? Did you have a great Halloween? How was your weekend? So you went down, got some shenanigans going on in Brooklyn Zoo.
I don't want to talk about my weekend. Right? I don't want to talk about my weekend, and my Halloween was just okay.
Well, I didn't actually get to celebrate my Halloween. So what I did today was I watched Halloween, the new anthology, and mixed it up with a little bit of the Rob Zombie anthology. Well, not an anthology, I guess the duo, and had a great time. Cheers, brother.
There we
I
go.
have seen this. Honorable mention.
Welcome in.
Watched Halloween Kills. Sucked.
Right?
Absolutely sucked. Watched Halloween Ends. Thought that was better than Kills. It actually seemed like they attempted to make a serious Halloween movie. I enjoyed the two Rob Zombie Halloween movies. Obviously, he tried to get really artsy towards the end of the second one, but I thought they were the superior Halloween movies overall, man. I gotta say,
I'm not a Halloween fan.
I know you're not.
Yeah. I love the holiday. I do not love the movie series. I feel like the movie series is inferior slasher films.
Yeah, okay.
And so I didn't see the remake Halloween. I did see Kills, didn't like Kills. And now Ends, everyone's trash talking it. Everyone's saying
and as they should, but I will say this, the attempt, I'm trying to, in my old age, I'm trying to recognize people's attempt. No, participation prizes or anything coming over here from this side. But I will say this, there was a story, there was a plot. And I said, oh, okay, I see what they were trying to do here. And the kid that they put the entire story on his back, he carried it masterfully. Like he did his part, Right. Jamie Lee Curtis revealed herself to be Jamie Lee Curtis. She's Jamie Lee Curtis.
Name and everything.
Absolutely. Are you ready for some honorable mentions before we start getting into the bullshit?
I am, but before we get into honorable mentions, we would love it if you like this channel, subscribed to us, hit that notification bell, and keep tuning in to Fight Juice Online, the only place you can see Fanboy Modeling School.
And get ready, folks. God of War drops. Not one of our official topics tonight because I've talked about it ad nauseum. God of War drops, obviously, next week. Target screwed Sony bad, and apparently some Targets, not all Targets, were selling the hard disk copies early. Luckily, no one's actually streamed anything yet because, Sony would come down like, yes. Honorable mention number one, Target fumbles the bag. Start selling hard copies.
Is it possible they did it on purpose?
Yes.
I thought they were going to get away with it.
Allegedly, right? Because I've seen this happen at other retailers where they do something like this, and Yeah. But early reviews for God of War Ragnarok, obviously the last installment, or what they're saying is the last installment of the Norse portion of the God of War storyline. People love it, Roy. Mantis, they love it. Like anyone that's played the 5-hour demos, and I'm not talking about just like IGN shilling for it. They were like, hey, you need to play this game. It is going to be game of the year. It's probably going to be the only thing that can, and when I'm hearing, that competes with Elder Scrolls. And I'm,
Hold on.
I didn't play Elder Scrolls. It seems fun enough if you like that type of like complication, but it's looking good. So Fight Juice.
Well, I can't wait to see you stream it on Fight Juice.
Yes, and that's where I was headed with this whole thing. So I pre-ordered my copy. I get it on the 8th, like the rest of the world, and that night, once I install the 100 gigabyte install and any necessary patches and updates, you will get a notification on Fight Juice Online and all the appropriate discords, and I'm just going to free flow the first 2 hours. First stream is only going to be 2 hours. I'm going to do my best to talk and be a part of, but let's kind of sit back and enjoy the story together. Maybe you don't play God of War, maybe you don't care enough to, but come to the stream. And
hell yeah. It's a great place to hang out. I want to see. I know they're very immersive. I haven't played a God of War game in wow,
quite some time. Hail to Matt.
Hail to Matt. He says hail to the chat. Hail to Mantis and hail to Steve. We love you, Matt Cat. Welcome in, brother.
Thank you for being here, man. So, second honorable mention. Funny how the world works. I don't believe in crystals, universes, and all that stuff. Positive, affirmative attraction, all that bullshit.
But you don't see what's clearly in front of your face.
Yeah. No. The Earth is flat, and it was made in 7 days
by angels. Right? Angels are holding it up.
No, it's a turtle, and Atlas is standing on the turtle. All right. You may have woken up last week and noticed, if you have a channel under 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, that when you went to go hit share to share some content of some content creator you enjoy, that there was a little red button above that said post. This is a new feature that's been unlocked.
Yes.
By YouTube. They have unlocked the community section,
so you can now just do normal posts like it's any other social media
post. Yeah, it's no longer a tier. At first, you had to have 1,000 subs. Then they dropped it to 500, and now they've made it available for smaller channels. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I sent out a Halloween one with a scary face, and I was like, "Happy Halloween, bitches! Have a good weekend." I don't know. I'm not even sure. I don't know how to look up if anyone liked it or even looked at it. I must remember to post on it. Absolutely.
Yeah, great way to build your community. I thought that was interesting that they decided to do that.
It is good because sometimes you don't have something that's worthy of a video to talk to your people about.
Right.
Like you mean like there's some delusional YouTuber out here who doesn't think that Henry Cavill's coming back as Superman, even though it's clear. Right. What do you think of that, team?
Right. Yes. So that gets us right into the third honorable mention. The one we're going to land on. And then we'll get into main topics, which are, Mantis, if you want to roll out the topics before we get stuck here, or do you just want me to dive in?
Yeah, let me hear the honorable mention first.
All right. So obviously YouTuber X, I'm going to do my best with bad takes.
Please don't say her name because I keep going with your thing. I got something.
With bad takes or takes that I don't agree with, I'm going to try to be a bit more conscientious of all parties involved. YouTuber X does not believe, in spite of all the signs presented, but in spite of everything that's been recorded and reported on by Henry Cavill himself, The Rock, and other, trades or scoopers, does not believe that that there's a slight chance that James Gunn may not want to pursue anything. Her words with Henry Cavill. It's Gunn's decision. Might not want to do anything with the Cavill machine, the Cavillnator. And obviously Henry Cavill stepping away from The Witcher. I know that your take on this is he's freeing up time for Superman, but I'm looking at this as a fan of The Witcher, which I can admit the budget and the production isn't always great on this show, but I've enjoyed it thus far.
Yeah, we're going to land on The Witcher. The Witcher will be a major topic. First, I want to talk about this pathetic little YouTuber who's constantly losing subs because there's something mentally wrong with her. Real quick, Matt Cat says, I'm happy that they did this. I think smaller channels should get everything that bigger channels get. I think small channels should be also be monetized. I agree. If a small channel gets one video that does really well, which I have done in the past, she gets something. It's not going to be a lot, but you're going to get something for that one video, right?
I think that you should have the opportunity to let the fans decide who they want to give their money to. And if they want to give their money and they want to sub to a channel that has 300, 400, fuck it, 25 subscribers, right. That's their
decision. Want to tip you. They want to tip you. They should be able to. It should be no skin off of their teeth because YouTube still gets its piece, right?
Yeah, they still get their 75 cents.
They still take their chunk out of it. I absolutely agree. Having a wall against being monetized is just nonsense.
Yes.
Lainey, hello, welcome.
Shout out, Lainey. Sorry, I missed most of Mothership Monday the other day. I'm legendary at this point. I get out of work, I jump in the car, and I'm like, click the link.
You're there to see the end of it. Yeah.
I'm like, what's up, guys?
It's cool. It was a zany sharing Halloween stories episode.
Okay.
We talked a little about Cabinet of Curiosities, which I'm going to do an official review on my horror channel. Kill me like one of your French girls. But real quick, on this situation, YouTuber X refuses to, and YouTuber X literally said, we don't know what James Gunn is going to do. He may not even want to work with Cavill. Here's the deal. Here's the actual deal. He may start November 1st, which was today, but they're not going to hire him unless he's having a conversation with David Zaslav. David Zaslav's not going to hire someone who's a wild card and will go off against his wishes.
Right.
Yeah, he would sit down and be like, before he hires the person, be like, what do you think we should do with the DCEU? Before he hires him, obviously.
Right. So,
like, they're going to be on the same page.
I just want to give you a little bit of feedback on this person and their takes, right? So, someone was hired by the MCU recently, right? We're not talking about Yaya. Yaya's later. Yaya. An actor who everyone wants to play Wiccan just signed allegedly a deal with Marvel. And this YouTuber's excitement behind the character of Wiccan coming into the MCU, I think, is overestimated. They use words like Wiccan is beloved by many, and I was like, is he?
No. I'm saying Young Avengers is another one of those franchises that they've done good. They have good writing. But they've never been able to get it stick. It's always being canceled, and they always have to reboot the franchise. It's never been able to go on a long run. It's never even reached 100 issues without getting canceled.
Right.
Probably much less. It's probably much less. Probably like it's probably been canceled in like issue number 30 or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I get you, and I just want to compare and contrast, juxtapose those two takes. How can you be so excited and so sure that this person is going to play Wiccan, and now they have to tell the story of Wiccan and Hulkling? Right, like as if people are clamoring for this.
Well, I think that she's loving the LGBT
representation
because
okay.
She makes sure that she likes to let everyone know that she's so liberal, she's an ally, and that everyone's welcome in her thing. So she pretends to be really interested in LGBT stuff.
And how disingenuous of a point to take if you're not actually involved in their community, right? So I won't set the litmus test for what makes you an ally, but I think a part of allyship is being involved fiscally, socially, and physically in someone's community, right? So that means you're out there at their events, you're supporting them, and not just, but these are just my standards. But to have this take and be so sure that it's Wiccan without anything to really to validate.
I believe her words were literally, someone's like, it's been confirmed that he's Wiccan. She's like, no, but just look at him.
Yeah, exactly. So
she makes the fake scoops, man. She claims to know stuff she doesn't. I officially unsubscribed. I've already unsubscribed to her channel. I stopped following her on Twitter too. Today,
you guys have some back and forth on Twitter. It's crazy to me that you unsubscribed to her, but you have on that shirt that you have on, proving that there's room in Mantis's oversized heart. In fact, yes, that's right, folks. Mantis's heart is technically too big for his body for him to be wearing that shirt. Wrong side.
Wrong side. Yes, my former deadly employer who screwed me so much that I had an active plan to. I'm not going to finish that thought. Let's just say, foul thoughts came into my mind.
Yes.
About how I was treated out there. But you know what? I got so much swag from the company. They're things I wear around the house. Like I have like 4 hoodies from them.
Makes sense.
And they're good hoodies. I'm not going to throw them away.
You got to use them. Got to use them. Got to use that stuff.
Mad Cat says only 10 people love Wiccan. I never like any of those Marvel Now characters. Yeah, I don't like. I'm not looking forward to the Young Avengers when they come about. I am very much not looking forward to them.
I want to compare and contrast her take on the Young Avengers to a show that's actually doing LGBTQ plus representation correct. If you're not watching Anne Rice's official
Interview with the Vampire,
it is now my official favorite show on streaming or regular TV.
It is in the lead right now for show of the year for me.
Yes.
It's between that and Severance. I like at the end of the year, I'm going to have to decide my top 10. I'm having trouble deciding which one is better, but it's definitely they're both so amazing. She said, Matt says she's placating to the LGBT fans.
Yes.
Princess Beck says, "Hail Matt, Laney, what up, Bex? Look at all this love going back." And I gotta say, you know what? I'm not gonna say it. It's mean. I didn't mean
what?
It's about that person that I unfollowed.
Let it fly, man. You're not using any names. Go ahead, bro.
So you know how when gay guys have heterosexual female best friends?
Yeah, you wanted to call it an F hag, I believe, is the word. Yeah.
They like to keep girls around, but as long as they're not too pretty. And that's why so many of them want to make her the BFF. You know what I'm saying?
Because I don't think there's any evidence that that's true. I think
they don't take Kim Kardashians as their best friends. No way.
Yeah. Here's my thing on the take about Henry Cavill, man. I don't think that YouTuber X is an industry shill. I think she's an industry anarchist, right? I've always had this take about her. She's a contrarian, and I respect it. You know, I respect the hustle. I respect her OG status on this platform. I respect the groundwork she's laid down as a content creator and someone that reviews stuff. But this is an interesting take. Subjectively, I think it's a bad take, because I think it's almost written in stone. But yeah, I guess we need someone like YouTuber X to keep us grounded, right? But it just feels as if though there's something I can't put my finger on with her bias in regards to this topic.
I got you. I don't know if I've said it in past weeks, but I got you. And by the way, she's lost 1,000 subs since she started naysaying the DCEU, and I do believe that after her current comments about Superman, it's going to get worse. Her just denying that he's going to work for them is just utterly insane. And I think we talked about when James Gunn dissed her, right, on Twitter?
Yes, we did.
I think she has real vendetta, and she's really angry that he got the job. I think that has set her over the edge.
There's definitely evidence for that, right? You see, we're putting on our official Ben Shapiro hats. We're going to just look at what's been presented. We won't make any wild speculation, but the record shows that there could be a logical reason for her to have a resentment if someone was to have that type of viewpoint or want to lean into conjecture. James Gunn completely obliterated.
Yeah, completely obliterated her. It's a miracle. She was the laughing stock. And so now that he's the head of DC, I don't think she's ever going to give DC any good press.
And let's talk about James Gunn being the head of DC. I know we're going to get into this later, but the Reeves verse is not something I'm interested in. I want to allow the space for someone. I do not want more of that. I don't. I mean, I do love the Joker. There were parts of the Batman that I actually enjoyed, and I'm not a big Snyderverse guy in the sense that Snyderverse is the only way. Zack Snyder's vision of the DC studios is the only way it can be. I just want them to make something of worth, right? And I think we're starting to head in the right direction. I'm not going to lean into the narrative that, even though I think you can make a strong argument that the reason the critics didn't like Black Adam was because he was too masculine, right? We can play this game, right? But there's a narrative being pushed that the movie's a flop when in actuality it's made, what is it, 250
250. It's on good track. It's on an absolutely fine track.
It's on good track. You know,
yeah. It's
poor
not
release date to go up against Wakanda Forever, but there's some
we
narratives.
got one more weekend of freedom before it starts getting popped up. But you know what's actually funny? It's China open really. I think the Chinese did this on purpose. It's China open release date is the same day as Black Panther, which they're not letting in their country.
Yeah.
So they're trying to slap them in the face or something like that. They'll be like, "We don't need black men here.
We only have black men. Good." Let's get into the main topics, unless you want to keep going on.
I mean, we might as well talk about Witcher and everything. Lainey just said it. Words right out of my mouth. I can't believe he's going to be leaving The Witcher. Yes, he is. And I want to address something that I want to double down. I kind of backed down when people said it. I think Public Friend had started it. And Public Friend said, I can't believe you don't think that Henry Cavill is an A-lister, because I've been quoted as saying that.
Yes,
and I don't think he's an A-lister. I think he's gonna be an A-lister.
Okay.
But here's the thing, and Pub said, I know who he is and my mom knows who he is. And if the both of us who know no celebrities, then he must be super famous. But I will say that I think one of the reasons he left The Witcher is he's going to get so much more prestige and money from being Superman that there's like no reason to be on a TV show.
So let me just normalize that, if I may, for a second. In regards to this whole him leaving, there's been some great reporting on his love of the character, of Geralt. Is the way it's pronounced?
I suppose. I don't know. Like, that's the funny thing about these fictional things. Does it matter if they're pronounced correctly?
Not to me, but you might go to a fan con where you have to fight some asthma people.
People have been flipping out, saying that the actor who plays Namor is mispronouncing it because he's putting Namor with a Spanish accent. But the thing is, the word Namor is a fictional name in the first place.
There's no dialect.
It doesn't matter how he pronounced it.
Those people are so far removed from sex, it's no wonder they're so cranky. But here's the thing, Henry Cavill, and I think this is consistent, he put a lot into that character, right? When he came into it, he's a fan of the content, as he reports. I can't validate his heart, but he put so much into the character, right? And he put so much
lie about it, at least if he is lying.
And he wanted to represent it as well as possible, coming from the books and from the games, which he's a huge fan of. His words. I was kind of heartbroken by this, right? But 2 seasons. Yeah, because I think he did a good job.
I think he did do a great job. I
thought he did a great job.
I feel like I'd rather see him as Superman. Maybe that's just me.
No, I'm not mad at him being Superman, because again, here's the thing about Henry Cavill, man. Just like his video of him building the PC, I think whatever he's involved in, he does enough research and he gets into it, if he's not already all into it. And his words about playing Geralt and his words about playing Superman are very awe-inspiring for me. He wanted to make sure that it was, the Witcher character he was portraying was accurate to the content, right? He wanted to make sure it was accurate to the game. And now moving into Superman, he wants to, they asked him what type of Superman he wants to bring in this new iteration. And he's like, I want to make sure it's inspiring. I want to make sure it's good. And I was like, all right, this is a guy who cares. Also, he wants to get the bag, and he's very open about that. But him leaving The Witcher to go do Superman stuff makes sense to me. I don't know how anyone can think that's an illogical claim. That's a very broad statement to make. But I guess it's the type of statement you make when you have some other ulterior.
Here's what I'm saying. Here's basically what I gotta say. And first, it's funny. Princess Beck says she sounds like a sucky person. I want to fight her the way y'all be talking about her. I would love to see that. I would pay to see that.
Let me put something on that. There was another young lady that used to be Devil Our Days in the Haven, and no, she didn't be Devil, but she was just one of those people. She never had beef with me, but she would just make you and Zeus so frustrated sometimes, where it made me not like her. And she reminds me of YouTuber X, and I'm not going to say her name either. I'm just going to say she lived on the Upper West Side, and I was just like, chill. This person has to be off the hook if I'm the guy that's like, chill.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, chill. You the mood, you're not matching the energy right now. And that's what I get from YouTuber X. I think sometimes the takes are just motivated. But let's talk about Henry Cavill, man.
RM says Mantis did not care about The Witcher. Laugh out loud. He was like, so when I told him the news.
Yeah, he gave me the same response. Like he literally, but RM in Mantis's defense, I know where he was this weekend. So all of his energy was probably focused on not having a bad time.
Yes. Well, when you're nursing and taking care of a grown man who's puking and passing out on himself every 20 minutes, it was a rough weekend. I love him. I love the dude.
Love you to death, brother. Love you to
death. Cavill is good, but I don't think he's an A-lister. From Matt Cat.
Okay.
Laney says, I believe that, RM. But like Liam Hemsworth taking over the mantle, like, no, yeah, he's not. He doesn't have the frame.
Right.
He does not have. Cavill's got a crazy frame.
But the boy's young, so he can bulk up. Don't forget that, man. He's young. He can bulk up. It's over for me and you. We'll never put on the muscle needed to play the Witcher at this point. Never.
Some asthma people says, public friend, welcome, right. Public friend.
Public, they're in the basements and they're just wheezing at the thought of.
Oh man, everyone's swimming out. So basically, I understand Witcher is beloved. I gotta say, it's my least favorite of the fantasy shows that are out right now.
Okay. Would you put it under Rings of Power? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No, wait, hold on. But actually put Wheel of Time under that.
You watch your filthy French whore mouth. That show has so much potential. It just needs.
That's all potential. That's what it has. It has not delivered. RM says, "Oh, Laney, I was sad. I didn't like season 2 as much as 1, but I didn't want it to suck even more. Yeah, it's gonna be all recastings are really rough, especially when they're the main character." Matt says, "I'd rather see him as Superman, but I don't understand actors. I'd ride that Witcher money train to the bank." So I'm wondering. Here's my theory. And unlike certain YouTubers or other people who are going to say they know for sure, I'm saying this is wild speculation from the Mantis.
Okay.
I believe that his dance card is filling up. So I know he's going to do a movie with that Guy Ritchie. So he's that movie coming out, right?
He has Highlander in production
Highlander in production. And then if it's possible, I have a feeling DCU might give him more than one movie. They might be like, we're giving you 2 Superman movie and a Justice League movie and some cameos. I think he might have a full palette at that point and might not want to stress himself out doing The Witcher.
Yeah, he's the new Tom Holland, right? Who knows where he's going to be and how many times he's going to show up.
Well, remember, being a movie actor, you get paid more for doing less, and you get more fame out of it.
So YouTuber X did have an interesting take that I did agree with. You know, she had alluded to the fact, or outright said that she feels like The Witcher was the show that kept Henry Cavill's career alive. And I actually agree with that. I agree with the fallout from the DC shenanigans. Him getting The Witcher kept him in the conversation. You know, I do think he's an A-lister.
I don't think he's an A-lister because...
Well, okay, wait, you know what? Let me rephrase that. He's not an A-lister in the sense where he can go out in California and say, hey, I need tickets because I'm Henry Cavill.
Right. I'm not saying I'd say he's a B-lister, but still, and I don't think there's just A and B. I think there's a whole alphabet of fame, levels of fame, right?
Yes.
That's still very good. I wouldn't even say Chris Evans is an A-lister.
Chris Evans is most certainly an A-lister, you psycho.
A-lister?
Chris, there's nowhere Chris Evans can't go where man, woman, or anything in the sexual spectrum in between isn't throwing itself at him.
I'm gonna submit something to you. I'm gonna submit something to you right now. Denzel.
He's beyond an A-lister.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock. Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise.
But
these people are A-listers. When you say they're A-listers?
No. They have transcended
legends. Okay, so wait. So I understand. You're saying they're a level. They're above A.
Yeah, they're above A.
Okay, as long as I know that if the chart does have something over A, then yes, they are the top tier. And then I would say Cavill and Chris are like the guys under him.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
absolutely.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I would concede to that. I would concede.
Those guys' level of fame is just ridiculous.
Yeah, Denzel could wave his arm and like 20 people in Harlem could be killed if that's what he wants. He's like, kill them now.
Is Steve talking about that fat girl from the Spoon app? No, he's not talking about the fat girl.
Which fat girl from the Spoon app? What is the shade? What?
We were talking about a certain person.
Who is that?
A certain narcissist who called me Uncle Mantis and all that. That's who he's talking.
Oh, that poor soul, you devil.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. He's not talking about that person. He said that poor soul. This is actually why I didn't tell Mantis the news. You were worried I wasn't going to share your pain with you, Lainey. I'm sorry. Here's what it is. My heart goes out to all of you who feel hurt about this whole thing with The Witcher. The good news is we get Henry Cavill as Superman. Woo! You, Mantis, you like Rings of Power over The Witcher? Gross, no taste. I'm more
classic fantasy.
I'm more committed to the characters just because I at least know them. You know what I mean? I at least know who Galadriel and Elrond was.
Oh, that's right. So you never played any of the Witcher games. Neither did I. Walking into this, I played that's not true. I played like 4 hours of the Witcher game, Witcher 3, and I realized how difficult the game was. But I love it. I like the show. I thought it was great.
Everybody who's in here right now is going to see like something legendary that you're never going to see again. So just embrace this.
Okay.
I was waiting for public to come in, and I was going to announce this here. Originally, I was going to play a whole video here on this stream. For all of you who know, me and Public had a bet about a month ago,
right,
that I wouldn't perform a pole dance. And today it ends at midnight, and I tried my best, and unfortunately, this dance did not happen. So I officially declare that I have lost the bet.
Ooh.
Public, you have won. You have bested the Mantis. You're one of the first to ever best me at anything.
You piece of shit. Piece of shit.
So congratulations. I will have to pay you installments.
You know what? Clubs, I'm glad that this happened publicly, no pun intended. Because I still need to whoop your ass in Street Fighter for all these fine people to see, you scrub. It just has to happen. But I'm sorry you couldn't find a pole.
It's going to happen here on Fright Juice.
I'm sorry you couldn't find a pole to slide down on. Pause.
I was very upset. I looked all day.
Mantis was looking for poles all day long.
I actually saw a street sign and no one was around. A street sign that had it was a tubular pole, and I was like, this is the right size. And I did my opening move. You jump up, you put your leg around it.
Pause.
And as soon as I did that, it literally bent right over, and I was at a 90-degree angle.
Wait.
And I just like that.
Did you say that your pole dancing was so ineffective that the pole went flaccid? Is that what you're saying?
It was, yeah. I was gonna snap it off.
You know what I tried to watch before I came on here? When I say try, it wasn't that I had some aversion, couldn't get through it. I was watching Promising Young Female before I jumped on here tonight because I remember the vitriol that you shot at it.
Right.
I saw it was free on HBO Max. I tried to watch some of that. Yeah,
you gotta watch that free stuff.
It's relevant to the pole dancing topic.
I'll be back. I'll be back as a pole dancer. I promise you. But I have lost.
So Clubs wants to know what you're gonna do to own up to your side of the bet.
I'm going to pay them in installments. Though I'm gonna set up a payment plan after the stream.
Pubs, don't take money. Money's too easy. I say you take social capital. Take social capital.
Lady says, I understand his dance card is filling up, but I guess this is why I don't love actors who chase the money rather than the art that you love the character you're playing, and why not to continue for the art. So that's interesting that you say that, because there is a rumor going around, I believe spread by one of the writers of it, that in truth, Henry Cavill's actually pissed that they changed the story too much from the books.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about him being a purist. Apparently he's really into this, and but again, that's alleged, and also there's some rumors going around, there's a narrative going around that he wasn't pleased with season 2, that they kind of did a drastic time jump in season 2. So, there's that.
Yeah, apparently he supposedly Henry Cavill doesn't like that they changed all this stuff, and he's just like, what's the point?
Well, that's a narrative that YouTuber X is pushing, that Henry Cavill is difficult. He's notoriously difficult to work with.
She loves to say that. She loves to hate on him and say he's difficult. How difficult can he be? He seems like a nice guy.
Bro.
Yeah. RM says it's interesting that we've heard nothing from Lauren Hisreich, the Witcher showrunner. She used to be very active on social media. Maybe she's going to quit. Liam Hemsworth is so No offense, but he's the 50-cent version of Henry. Not even of Henry Cavill. He's the 50-cent version of his own brother.
Right.
I wouldn't want him on The Witcher. That's really gonna. You know what? I'm gonna watch The Witcher seasons 1 and 2 again. Maybe I'll have new appreciation now that I know that it's not gonna be around forever.
It's a bad take. No, not a bad take. I disagree, Matt. Chris Evans is beloved.
Here's what I'm saying: as long as we are understanding that there is a tier above A and there's like a legendary tier, then yes, because I would say like Denzel and Sandra Bullock and all them or Keanu are such legends.
They're so far beyond A-listers to the fact where they don't have to work for 5 years at a time, right? They don't have to put any projects out.
One movie and then they chill for a while.
But they're so critically acclaimed and loved. They're beyond A-listers,
So Pub says those are retired A-listers. That's false. Everyone I've named still works. Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Sandra Bullock, Denzel Washington. I just watched his latest movie the other day where he did that. Where he's the cop in the serial killer stuff. Yeah, they still work.
Wait, did Lainey just switch her PFP? Am I going blind? What's going on there?
What? According to my thing, Lainey looks the same.
No, it looks different on mine. There's the side smile Lainey, and now there's a front-facing Lainey on my side.
They used to be A-listers, now they are beyond that. Okay, so then I'm willing to say that the A-list can be Chris Evans and Henry. What is your definition? Yeah, it is hard for probably Henry Cavill and Chris Evans.
No, bro, there's no. Okay, not to get swarmed. I'm telling you for a fact. Here's a good qualifier for an A-lister. If you're in a place called Brentwood, California, and you can go get a reservation in any of those restaurants, where there's only like 6 of them, but they're very exclusive. If you can walk into those places without a reservation, you're good. You're an A-lister, man. Right. Like, if you got projects that are handed to you as opposed to auditioning, you're an A-lister. Like, if your agent doesn't have to work anymore for that 10%.
No, that 10% just makes them coast forever. Like, I'm in Tahiti till your next piece. Lainey takes a shot at me and says, I knew you weren't going to share the pain. And Pubs is instigating, saying, wow, 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 wow. What will you do to pay your debts? We got into that. Okay, let me ask you this. Cavill has left The Witcher. What are you going to do if Henry doesn't play Superman again? Knock on wood.
3 times.
I think there's almost no chance of that happening. I'm just
really? No chance.
I give you guys a chance. Well, almost no chance, I'd say.
Okay.
You guys can mock the shit out of me if that actually ends up happening. If he's like, this isn't happening. I think the ink is already dry.
Really? Okay.
I don't think he would have quit The Witcher. I think it's so. Isn't it funny that the DC opportunity opens up and then he's like, "Oh, and by the way, I don't work at The Witcher anymore." I think it's clear. It's clearly that he signed something.
I think it's extremely clear and beyond the point of likely that he's going to be playing Superman again outside of this appearance in Black Adam. I think that's a great direction for them to go in. I think it would be stupid for James Gunn not to pursue that. But it is a balancing act, right? Because James Gunn now has to establish, him and his partner have to establish the Gunnverse versus the Snyderverse. And I think one thing you got to do, using a little bit of subterfuge, is recognize that this guy would make a great Superman and he's the person they want. So let me bring him back and give the stories I want with this character. I mean, this actor playing this character.
Right. All you have to do is give the right script. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to start. You need to reboot every time there's a bad piece of the franchise.
Yeah. Get Affleck back in here. Fuck the Reeves verse. The Batman movie I was listening to someone. It was the great prophet John Campea. Fucking Ben Affleck is an Academy Award, an Oscar winner, writer, director, right?
Right.
Why wouldn't you want to see the Batman that this guy?
Yeah, which he directs and makes. Absolutely. I want to see that movie. He wrote the script. He co-wrote the script with some other person or whatever. Yeah. So he has a script, and I know it features the Black Mask, and in fact features Deathstroke. I would give anything to see this movie.
Yeah, I think Cavill's going to be there. I know he's going to be there.
Hannah Banana HD says, I can't stay as I'm with my girlfriend watching a movie, but I wanted to show my love and support. Hello, Hannah. It is always good to see you. You're always welcome here at Fanboy Modeling School.
What movie are you watching?
Yeah, what movie are you watching?
All right. We're way off base here, man. The rhythm is getting crazy here. So we're talking about Cavill. We're talking about Gunn. So what do you
Public
think?
says I may have more social capital than Mantis.
No, okay. So what I meant by social capital, public, was you should make Mantis do things publicly to increase your social capital, like acknowledge you in endearing ways in small increments versus monetary gain.
You mean humiliate me?
No, not humiliate. Just like
I have to dress up like a baby and talk to strangers on the streets, right?
Well, no, don't do anything that you were already going to do. I'm saying that you have. Like,
oh my God, Laney. Laney's PFP did change, and
I told you that, man.
And it looks like the devil. She looks like a corpse bride.
That's not. I wouldn't say that.
What is going on? Is that
It's like-
difficult of someone who wants to stick?
No. One PFP is for sure like Laney's like dating PFP before 9 p.m. and the next one is like Laney after dark. That's the vibe I'm getting right now.
I mean, they create movies and shows from books and games for a reason, as we fans want the lore to remain. I agree with Laney. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, The Witcher is one of those lores and one of those stories where it helps to have someone to really appreciate it. But I guess it depends on your interpretation. Did you enjoy season 1? Because people had issue with season 1 of The Witcher, and then some people, a very small minority of people, had huge issues with season 2. Like, it really depends on how you. I
think I liked one more.
I would agree that I liked one more. My overall issue with the entire thing is the production level. I feel like sometimes I get taken out of the fantasy looking at it and I go, this is kind of British TV.
You know how that's the problem. You know how I feel about British people.
What?
This is like this just should be on my profile. I don't do Brits. I don't like them. I don't like the only reason I like Henry Cavill is when he's doing an American accent.
Right.
Yeah, F that. I don't want to see British people talking in their disgusting perversion of our language.
Wait, is it their perversion or are we perverting it?
It's our language. We do more with it than them. It should be called American. Okay. Ryan Reynolds is an example of an A-lister who may not be your favorite, but he has the box office power to do whatever he wants.
Not only does he have the box office like that power, he survived one of the worst flops in history. He was attached to the Green Lantern and was able to spin that into something that we all laugh at together with him.
Laney says, I hate it here. I too dislike British people, says Bubs.
Oh my God, the Brits.
But you like Matt Smith. He's the only British person I will ever like.
So far off track. Now let's get into the meat of it. So James Gunn taking over. What do you want to see coming out of the James Gunn DC Studios productions? We're past the
as long as we were just talking about Henry Cavill, I would like to see Man of Steel sequel 2 and 3.
Right.
At least 1 or 2 more Justice League movies.
Okay. Whoa! I want to. Yo, Matt just dropped the atomic bomb in the chat. Random question: you think YouTuber X is upset she never had a family? Always said Manhattan is where
ovaries go to die.
Wow.
If I answer that on this show, this show will be canceled. This show will be absolutely. They will burn this studio down. If I actually answer that question, I do love that question though.
It's a great question. And yes, Matt, to answer your question, the Upper East Side is where ovaries go to die. So you do with that information as you will.
Public says, "Laugh out loud." Who cares? I feel you. Yeah, we'll talk in private. That's after hours, man.
Oh, RM, both Mantis and Hold Up had mothers who lived in NYC. My mom lived in Harlem. She's outside of that demographic.
Yeah.
Upper West Side. Upper West Side.
There are family women in NYC. Don't get me wrong, but right. I think I know what Matt was getting at. And once again, I don't want to be canceled, so we're not going to get through details of my thought about what went wrong in YouTuber Zach's life to make them the way they are. But I want to see James Gunn. Doesn't have to direct, but do a Justice League Dark. Yes,
I agree. I agree with that 100%.
Let's do it. Justice League Dark. That's a good one. Yeah, Justice League Dark. At least 2 more Superman movies. At least 2 more Justice League movies. At least 1 Batfleck movie.
Right.
Explaining what happened to Robin.
Yeah, we need that.
I want to see the death of the Robin kind of storyline. Obviously, I want to see a Wonder Woman 3, but I want Patty Jenkins to have a producer who's always on her ass watching what she's doing. So there can't be another.
Not on the project anymore. She's right.
No, Wonder Woman 3. She's still is.
Oh, okay. She's still on for.
They're gonna let her finish her trilogy, but I would make sure a producer doesn't let her do another 84.
Yeah. She needs a Zack Snyder breathing over her shoulder for sure.
I would love it for them to in some way bring Ray Fisher back. Let's have justice for Ray Fisher. Right?
Right. Justice for Ray Fisher. Yeah.
Oh, Matt says I want an Aquaman 3. I need to see Aquaman 2. What will that bring?
Without the star power and the acting capability of Amber Heard, I'm not sure the Aquaman series is going to last much longer.
I'm not gonna lie, I really liked her as Mira because she was pretty.
You sexist, chauvinist bastard.
I'm just saying that's like it's not like she's a great actor. I just was like she's a good Mira because she's pretty and she's red hair and
and she shops at Marshall's. Why wouldn't you? She's easy on the eyes and she's easy on the pocket.
I don't hate her as much as everyone else, but I do think people will boycott the movie. She is problematic, and I am interested to see what they're going to do with her parts in number 2.
She's radioactive. I think what I want to see coming out of James Gunn is obviously Suicide Squad 3, right? I want James Gunn to, if they're going to keep Keanu Reeves as Constantine, which they are going to do. I want to see them marry that to the main DC universe, right? I want Vertigo to be integrated properly, so I do want to see characters like Swamp Thing. I want to see Deadman, which I know we're gonna get, right? I want to see the Great Darkness. I want James Gunn to treat DC like it was before the 15th Crisis installment in the comics, right?
Right.
Build to something with stakes. I want it to be dark because I'm okay with it being dark. I don't need jokes in superhero movies. I can go to the MCU for that. I want DC to be the other thing, where you go and enjoy things that you don't get from the MCU. I want them to be true to their character.
Yo, here's what it is. Like, so speaking of specific characters, right? Like, for instance, in a Justice League 2 movie, I would definitely have them out in outer space, having a space adventure, and I would have them have something to do with the Green Lanterns. And I don't care which Green Lantern they put in it, but they need to team up with the Green Lantern.
So I was listening to a report the other day. I agree with that. And Jon Stewart's going to be main focus for the show or the movie they're developing for the Green Lantern.
I hope they scrap the show and they just straight up make a movie.
Just do a movie. Yeah, we got too many shows. We got too many shows, man.
But also another thing is, here's what it is, and Marvel has proven it. The shows downgrade the property.
They do.
After a while, I stopped respecting these Disney original shows.
Right. No, absolutely. I was listening to some audio comics the other day, listening to the arcs going on with Moon Knight, and I was like, wow, the Moon Knight we got on that show was not the Moon Knight in the comics. We got Moon Knight in the comics is a brutal bastard, and we got some Disney shit. I don't want that. Just give me a movie.
You know what show I would like, though? Although this might be too much like Stargirl, I would love to see a Justice Society show.
If it was a Justice Society built off of what we got in Black Adam, yes.
I want those actors to come back, and I just want to see more of their thing.
Yeah, I would see that. Speaking of Stargirl, I know we can dip back into James Gunn. Canceled. Shouldn't have made it to season 2, though, some people say. But, it is officially canceled.
I don't watch it. I'm going to be honest. I don't watch it. However, I think it is quality. Mm-hmm. It just wasn't my thing. Right. I feel like Stargirl's, I put it in the same place as Miss Marvel. It's a quality show that just isn't for me because it's kind of kiddie. You know what I mean? And so I'm like,
Miss Marvel is quality?
I do think Miss Marvel was a quality show. Okay. It's just made for kids. And did you see it? You saw it?
No, I have not. I've watched 5 minutes of an episode and I was like, not for me. So
I will give you an example of what is wrong with Miss Marvel. Other than the fact that here's what I'm saying. I when I first saw Miss Marvel, one of my complaints was there wasn't enough action. But when you see She-Hulk, you realize that Miss Marvel is that's not the problem. Right. But one of the problems is there's a part where the FBI or the SWAT team, the government is coming after them, and they're in a high school, and they create all these Home Alone style traps to stop the FBI. Like, so they'll like run into a room, and then a bunch of tennis balls will fall on them, and like they're stopping the FBI using high school pranks.
Oh, shenanigans.
And I'm like, I do not need that in a superhero movie.
Sounds like Homecoming to me. I want to address Matt. He said the words that are most triggering to me. Steve, you're wrong. Love Stargirl. So what I'm saying, Matt, is regarding Stargirl, it did not warrant a second episode, right? By standards, it didn't get the ratings. It got canceled after the first episode, the first season, and they decided to give it 2 more. So you're not arguing with me. You're arguing with the people that are like, this is bad. We should cut ties now. But enough fans spoke up for it where they gave it 2 more seasons, and now it's donezo.
Yeah, but I know it has a strong fan base. I've seen clips of it online.
You accuse it of being racist.
I did. I did. I just didn't think that they should take a character who's historically white named Dr. Midnight and make Dr. Midnight a black person. When they racial bent then I was like, wait a minute. The black character is Dr. Midnight?
That's how I know you would be a good politician, right? Like in that moment, you could have spun that in any way, shape, or form. You were like, I did say these things.
I'm the next. I'm AOC in that regard. Matt says Amber Heard is see you next Thursday. I also really want an adaptation of Robert Vendetti's Hawkman. I would love to see some good Hawkman. Oh, that would be great if they did Hawkman movies and they really went into Thanagorian lore. That would be great. Stevie Wrong, love Stargirl. It's a wholesome show without an agenda. Love it. Miss Marvel was well produced. The CGI and direction was good. The writing was all over the place and was the problem. Yeah, Miss Marvel went off the rails real quick when they went overseas. I didn't like the time travel thing. I didn't necessarily need to have Pakistani history in there for a superhero show. I'm
sorry.
It's all right. Steve, you told me the words that trigger you. That was a mistake, and now I know what to say. So,
it's not a secret, Matt. There's no quicker way to get my attention in the chat than to say, I disagree, Steve. And I'm like, who the fuck said that? Who dared disagree with me?
I really like Matt's idea for Aquaman 3 Suicide Squad breaks into Atlantis.
It's not a bad idea. I'm looking forward to this game we're supposed to be getting, Suicide Squad versus the Justice League, but who knows if that's actually going to come out.
I want Wonder Woman 3, I think I've told you this, to be a team up with Batman where they hook up eventually.
Yes.
And then she can fight not one, but like 6 of her worst villains all teaming up, all females, like, up on her. Like her version of the Sinister Six,
Why do you have to sexualize everything? Why can't it just be about
everything in superheroes is basically sexualized. It's a deep-rooted sexual fantasy for all of us. You're all feeling it. I know you are.
Just 2 human beings respecting each other.
What? They're wearing tights. They have perfect bodies. Come on, man.
They're just respecting each other's mind. That Alt Cafe over by Avenue A, formerly Alt Cafe, and they're just sitting there talking about poetry. 2 great, liberal arts majors just getting to know each other on a deeper level.
That talking in a cafe always leads to banging.
It definitely does. I can't think of a time when I invited a young lady to Alt Cafe to talk about poetry where it didn't lead to us making the beast with 2 backs.
Right. It's a surefire.
60% of the time, it works all the time.
We're really making ourselves look like monsters.
But I digress, right? So DC is heading in a direction. We'll see if it's a direction that people are going to, stick around for. I will say this: I have enjoyed some of the coverage, a lot of the coverage surrounding James Gunn and what's his face taking over. His name is what's his face, and I just want to see what James Gunn does. But I need Suicide Squad 3. I need Man of Steel 2, and I definitely need to see Wonder Woman go back to being a warrior princess versus, not that I didn't enjoy Wonder Woman 2, but I would like her to be the Diana that we know her to be.
So Matt, I see why that works as a Wonder Woman 3. He says he wants Diana to go to the underworld see Pope again and bring Steve back to the real world. However, I would prefer the story to be I feel like at the end of 2, she realizes that she needs to accept his death and move on, which means she needs to move on to another man, which means that man is going to be the Batman. Boom. Public says, ew, I hate it when you say the beast with 2 backs. That is so gross. You are the only person I know what the saying is, but you're the only person I know who's said it in the real world. I think I've heard that in a movie or something.
Yeah, the beast with 2 backs, the coitus.
Yeah. Even that, don't say coitus, man. Come on. Antiope. I think that's how her name is spelled. Yeah, I don't all these ancient Greek names. I don't know. I think that's such a great goddess storyline that you're saying. It's so perfect. It's really perfect what you're saying. I could see that being a good one. I prefer my banging Batman, Wonder Woman 3, but they could both work. Who knows? I think
you'll find your version of the movie on the hub, and you could probably find it now. So why are you putting us all through?
It's clear. Here's what I'm saying. She in 1984, she was obsessed with Steve. She wishes Steve back. Then she realized it's unnatural to have Steve, to take him from the underworld. She has to send him back to Deadland and accept that for reality for what it is, which means the woman has now moved on, which is why. And then she later on in Justice League is flirting with Batman. She now needs to seal the deal with how over she is, her old boyfriend, and bang the Dark Knight.
Get under a new one to get past the old one. I think that they want to move past Steve ever since that little narrative that started catching legs but never quite caught on.
The assault narrative.
Yes. they definitely want to move past.
For those who don't know, in order for her to have her wish, she summons the spirit of her dead boyfriend into the body of an unwilling normal guy.
Yeah.
And has a sexual romp with him throughout the film. And then people are like, well, doesn't that mean that dude wasn't consenting to being her toy for, all along?
I'm laughing because I'm uncomfortable, not because
I actually feel that not only that, you know what's really weird? I feel like that in 1984, I mean, we could review 1984 all night, but like they didn't need to add that detail that he's in the body of another guy. He should have just
manifested.
The story's already ridiculous where there's a genie granting wishes. So, like, why not make him just manifest? Because I think Patty Jenkins has a kink.
Yes. There was I feel allegedly there was a kink being expressed there.
Yeah. I don't like the Reeves universe anymore, but I do want a new Catwoman. Who do you think should play her? I personally want Ana de Armas would be great considering Ben Affleck went out with her. Oh my god.
Not a bad pick. I have to think on that one for a second.
I would
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of Zoe Kravitz being casted as a Catwoman, and I'm not entirely sure beyond her being like, this sexualized vixen. I thought she was a convincing Catwoman. That movie just confused me, and I kind of want to move on from it, right? There's the
Batman, man. I do not like the Batman. I do not like it.
There's some situations where I can deal with a character being race bent, like watching what's Homegirl's name that played Domino in Deadpool?
Oh, Zazie Beetz.
Zazie Beetz. Domino's race is it's not a factor in Marvel, right? She's fucking literally black and white.
Yeah.
Zazie Beetz is so fucking adorable. You just let that one pass, right? She's adorable. Right. She's hot. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Zoe Kravitz as a Catwoman. It didn't stick for me, man.
I'm going to say this with a heavy heart. I know I'm going to get roasted right now.
You mulatto supporting motherfucker. I know.
No. Normally I would be, but you know what? I'm offended that she's a mulatto.
Okay, lean into it.
Because the idea was that her mother was a prostitute who worked for the Falcone team.
Yeah.
And he was banging a prostitute. And of course, the prostitute is a black woman, right?
Yeah. No, I
don't like that optic. I do not like that optic.
And I know people can go to, what's the woman's name? I just had it on the tip of my tongue that played Catwoman on the old Adam West show. What's her name?
I don't know I don't know anything about old people, so I wouldn't be able to answer that one right there.
I got you. Keep talking. I got you.
Matt says I laugh every time Steve says coitus. It is funny. It's hysterical. Public sense friends, I liked Zoe Kravitz. I did like Zoe Kravitz.
Ursula Kitts. Ursula Kitts,
yes.
Yeah. I know that people will invoke her as if she is the standard for Catwoman, but you know that in the publication, Catwoman has always been of Angloid descent.
Right. I will say I do really like Zoe Kravitz's performance, and I do think she was adorable, and she was what made the movie more bearable for me, actually.
Yeah.
But I will say, other than that optic, that I'm like, oh, why is her hooker mom got to be black? You know what I mean? RM says Catwoman has been cast as brown since the original show. Yeah,
let's bring Halle Berry's Catwoman back, right? She had actual superpowers. Let's get her back up in here.
By the way, I support Keke Palmer as Rogue, at least partially, to annoy Hold Up. I support it as well. I support it.
I support Keke Palmer. I don't support the narrative of her being Rogue just to make people angry. Keke Palmer is bigger than that. She's bigger than Rogue. Man.
I would love her to be. You wouldn't want her to be Rogue?
Why? Why does Rogue need to be black? You need to justify it, not me.
I saw the pics of her. Fan
art. No. Don't dip and dodge. Why does Rogue need to be black?
She doesn't need to be black.
Okay.
Keke Palmer is currently my favorite Southern actress.
Well, is she Southern?
I don't know, but she had an accent. And
they live in
enough. She can do. She basically. I like her. She can do a Southern accent.
Wait, she lived in the Southwest. You psychopath. That's not. Okay. So, listen. Keke Palmer would be an amazing black character in any comic book, and also she's pregnant right now, so she can't do anything.
Well, I mean, obviously they're gonna wait on the X-Men, so she, kid'll be 3 before they're, she can lose that baby fat. Matt says I would go for an Asian Catwoman.
Oh,
you know what? You know who I'd cast as Asian? Nightwing.
Now I agree that Anna was the worst rogue ever.
Worst rogue ever.
Worst
way
rogue
to go,
ever. That was
back when it's a rogue was hard.
Yeah, Rogue does not have a gap tooth. I have a gap tooth, and I shun myself in the morning every day. I look at myself and I look at my gap, and I'm like, you piece of worthless shit.
They did not keep it real with that casting.
They
did not think they ruined Rogue even down to the script.
They made her Jubilee, and I'm like, well, why didn't you just put Jubilee in the spot?
Forget Marvel. We're still in DC real quick. We're about to jump to Marvel, though.
Go for it.
Any final thoughts? So, I would love an Asian Dick Grayson.
Why?
Because originally, back in the day, there was a rumor that Snyder wanted Glenn from The Walking Dead to play Dick Grayson in a Batfleck movie.
Okay.
And I was like so about that. I never even thought about casting someone who was Asian. And I was like, I'm about that. And now I don't know if he's the age out of the role. I don't think Asians crack, do they? I bet he still looks like a kid.
Grayson, very common name for Asians. I've noticed that before.
It works, and he's jet black hair, and obviously.
No, I'm being facetious. I've never met an Asian with the last name Howard, Grayson, or Johnson.
And that's another ignorant statement, because you do not know what people's last names come from. You don't know what their family heritage are. I'm sure there's plenty of Asian people with like white last names.
Name 3.
Dick Grayson.
Wrong.
George Smith.
George Smith.
Alex Johnson. Asian guys I know.
Oh, these are Asian guys Okay. Well,
I think Dick Grayson could be an Asian guy. I don't know.
That should stand up in a court of law. It really should.
So you said name 3. I was naming some Asian guys I know.
You made up 3.
They made Anna Paquin such a little pussy. She was no Rogue in my book. I agree. I think gaps in teeth are really cool. Yeah, they are.
Oh,
cool.
Thank you, Pubs.
And I wish I had one.
Oh, Pubs, you're fine just the way you are.
Yeah, you're perfect. Henry Golding and
I love this. Now, this is the best thing I've read today. Read it out loud, please.
Henry Golding is half white, but mostly plays Asian characters.
Proving my point yet again. Proving Assagination, as they said in that great movie, Oh Brother, We're Out Now. Assagination.
Oh, yes, I know this, dude. So here's the thing, though. This makes a complicated concept of race that you know I hate race, right? Because you know why I hate race, right?
Go on.
You know why I hate race, right?
Go on. I'm willing
it's
to
not
listen.
real. It's a social construction.
Actually, I think. Let me digress. When I was
the idea that you're like your first instinct was you're like an Asian can't have Grayson as the last name. I'm sure we can find a Grayson in the world who's an Asian.
Yes, but are they Asian by the Asian standard?
But what is the Asian standard? If you look at your genetic profile, you're going to have.
I'm glad you asked that question. I'm glad you asked that question. Why don't we have 3 of our Asian friends who grew up in the Asian community come up on the show one day and ask them about the name Grayson or Johnson or Howard?
No, they wouldn't know. But I'm just saying that the idea is what it is that anyone of any race can be any name.
Wait, but who do we let decide this by the rules of today's standards?
This is my point. No one can decide it, so no one gets to decide.
Wait, so Asian people don't get to decide what's right about their culture?
You're talking about culture. I'm talking about straight up race. Race culture is a different thing than race.
So they don't get to decide about their race?
No, because they're just geneticists who can break down whether people are. I bet you there are people who are like. I bet you there are guys in the Chinese government who are like the most powerful Chinese guys. They're like, we control and break people for the Chinese government. And if we were to do a genetic scan of them, I bet you we'd find African American in them.
Right,
somewhere back in there. You know what I'm saying?
Your argument makes so much sense. You know what?
So basically, what I'm saying is we're all a mix. We're all a mix of all races. They're all social constructions. We're all just projecting onto people. We assume that all Asian people are named Lee.
I agree with that. I agree with that statement.
Yeah. When you hear someone named Tyrone, you assume they're black.
No, so Tyrone is actually a Roman name.
I'm sure it goes back, but nowadays
not sure it goes back. Tyrone is a Roman name, but you are correct. We are projecting, or at the very least, you are projecting right now. For sure.
You're complaining that an Asian can't have the last name Grayson, and I'm saying they can have whatever name they want. This is the real world.
I'm saying prove that. That's all I'm saying. Prove that. You made a claim, and I asked
you. Next episode, I'm gonna dig. We're not making a bet because I've already lost one today. I am gonna dig up someone with the last name Grayson who's Asian, or at least Asian past.
You know what he's gonna find? He's gonna find someone with the last name Grayson, and it's gonna be hyphenated with their actual family name. He's gonna send it to me cropped out. I'm gonna look that same guy up.
I'm gonna have the guy with a picture, and he's gonna be holding his ID next to his face.
Right.
I'm not a fan of Asian Grayson Jason says Matt. I'm getting Mantis a 23andMe kit for Christmas. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Speaking of race, this is the perfect segue to Wonder Man from Marvel has been cast as Yahya Abdul-Mateen II.
Go for it.
Okay, so for those of you who know about hashtag make
can you do me a favor?
Black,
can you share your screen on a picture of Wonder Man really quickly while we have this conversation?
Absolutely. Simon Williams. Hollywood. He's a Hollywood actor. Gains superpowers. Incredibly egotistical.
Right.
Into himself.
He's Tom Cruise.
With superpowers.
Yeah.
Although Tom Cruise might have superpowers.
So you finally gave in to Scientology, right? So Yahya is an amazing actor. It's amazing that his casting in Marvel is coming instead of it being for T'Challa, because I thought he was an obvious choice to take over for the late great Chadwick Boseman. He's going to be playing Wonder Man, and it's going to be for a Disney Plus series. which lends itself to the fact that I don't know if this is still being reported on. It hasn't actually been confirmed yet. He hasn't come out and said, I'm happy to have it. And also, there are going to be some people who are going to be mad at Yaya, because if you don't know this about Yaya, he also made some controversial statements about playing superheroes and, equating it to clown work. His words, not mine.
But I actually didn't know that. Did he say that?
Yeah.
I can't stand people who fucking do not like doing their job as an actor, which should be so easy, right?
I think so. I think so. So as you can see, there's Wonder Man, right? So someone made an amazing argument. I won't say amazing. Someone made an interesting argument regarding.
You know what's the problem with the art? He could look like he's Latino. He's not Latino.
Right.
He is a white man. He's pretty white.
White man.
He's white.
Tyrone Magnus, shout out to Tyrone Magnus, OG content creator here on YouTube, made a great argument in regards to why he's against race swapping characters, and it has nothing to do with being racist. He's a black man, so by the standards of liberals,
well, considering from his name, we knew he was black.
Well, Tyrone is also and Magnus, right? You recognize that as you know that's a Roman name.
I'm just busting your chops. I literally just said a second ago that name you can't know someone by their name.
When the Asian community comes for you, I'm gonna do my best to stand between you and them.
If someone was like, I was like, "What is your friend's name?" and he's like, Gian Lee, I would say, "What race is he?" And if someone is like, their name is Grace Johnson, I'd be like, "What race are they?" If someone was like Kilolo Green, I'd be like, "What race?" You feel what I'm saying?
The thoughts expressed by the light-skinned brother on the screen right now, and not those of the brown brother. So when you militant motherfuckers come for this guy, but he had an interesting take in regards to race swapping a character. He says it's about changing the interpretation of what the character is. By changing something like that, you are fundamentally changing who they are and the way they should relate, and how people relate to them. You're changing people's escapism. And I thought about that for a second because it felt like a blanket statement, but I was like, well, wait. If I were a diehard liberal, this makes sense. There's a lot of identity tied to race. You would agree with that, right?
There is. It's a shame.
Yeah, there's a lot of identity tied to race. So I could see how someone can make that type of argument, like changing Wonder Man into a black person. You're affecting the way people view this, because fundamentally his blackness would be a huge part of who he is. And but I don't care enough about this. I'm surprised Yaya took this role.
Yo, I gotta tell you right now, and I'm gonna put you on right now. So I'm a Avengers, but this is gonna reveal me real hard. I was actually not an Avengers fan. I was a West Coast Avengers fan.
No one was.
I was that dork collecting West Coast Avengers. That's how I became a Hawkeye stan. And Wonder Man was one of the other great shows there. And I love Wonder Man. And actually, I have this very comic that I'm showing you on the screen right now. Wonder Man #1. Yeah. I liked his thing, all about making fun of Hollywood and Hollywood rich guys, pretty boys and stuff. And I feel like that's what his character is. It's more than race. He's
okay.
A pretty boy who loves himself, action hero, like a Johnny Cage.
Okay. Yeah, you know what, man? The last time I trusted you in regards to a Yaya character is what got you disinvited from this house ever again. No need to go into it. No need to go into it.
Oh, right. I put him on, guys. I put him on.
So what are your thoughts? Do you care about a Wonder Man show? Is this something you were clamoring for? Because I don't know how much it's going to tie in case you don't know the lore of Wonder Man. He is the personality that Vision is based off of, which is why Grim Reaper, or whatever his name is, Wonder Man's brother, has a death quest against Vision.
Yeah.
But they've kind of ruined that already because Vision's personality was based off of Bruce Banner and Tony Stark and blah, blah, blah. Go ahead.
So here's what I think. Here is my prediction of the plot of what's going on. Vision is going to go on the Vision quest, which means he has to find his soul. In the story Vision quest, Scarlet Witch goes into the underworld to get his soul back. But I think in this, they're probably going to have to rewrite his programming. He's going to need a brain to model after. And I think this time they're going to use Wonder Man. So they're just doing it late in the game, basically. That same plot. That's what I think.
Okay.
I love it. I'm all about this. I think this is amazing. Another thing I gotta say, I gotta thank She-Hulk. I gotta thank She-Hulk for failing in every way. You know why? Hopefully, Marvel will wake up, realize they've ruined everything, right?
Right.
And they will now know how to make a comedy better. They will hire better writers. They will make sure they put action in it. And we finally, because it's got a comedy. They said it's going to be a comedy. Right. Wonder Man, we can get a Wonder Man comedy with action and adventure and plots that make sense, other than whatever the fuck She-Hulk is.
Matt says, are you guys talking about Big Dick McGee and Watchmen?
I love Yaya, but I'm not a fan of his casting. I've never been the hugest fan of Wonder Man. Plus, I don't like any of the MCU shows, so I think this is DOA for me. Oh, God. I hope they improve. If I were Regina King's character from Watchmen, I would choose that body, too.
Long strokes.
RM keeps making comments about how she wants to bang Yaya, which I respect.
Objectifying his body.
It's all right. We are fine with objectification on Fanboy. Are you guys talking about Big Dick McGee in Watchmen? All right. You're going to learn today. No, are you talking about... So RM was talking about Yahya Abdul-Mateen played the second coming of Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen show. RM says I am a truthful person. In terms of the Yahya Abdul-Mateen thing that upset Steve, I made him watch the Black Mirror episode called, I believe it's called Striking Vipers. It's where the two friends, Yahya and another friend, they're playing a fighting game. I'm telling them about Striking Vipers the night I made you watch Striking Vipers.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Me and he's like, what should we watch? I was like, let's watch this episode of Black Mirror. You're going to love it.
That's not how that shit was. He literally was like, hey, put Black Mirror on. I was like, oh, I love that show.
Oh, you haven't seen this? Oh, you need to watch this episode. Obviously made Steve very uncomfortable.
No, the episode didn't make me uncomfortable. It was your suggestion that two close friends watch an episode about what two close friends did.
Well, you're the one who wants to challenge me to Street Fighter, so let's analyze you for
Street Fighter doesn't have any of those undertones in it. You fucking.
The episode was about guys who play Street Fighter and bang. Okay.
No. Again, you're so off base with this stuff. It's outrageous. No wonder pubs beat you in the pole dancing competition.
Yo, I love this. I can't wait to see Black Wonder Man.
Yeah, I'm sure you can't.
The bigger thing. Have you heard the bigger thing is me? That's where the poll couldn't handle me. Anyway, sorry guys. But you always take it there. Steve, you're so paranoid it's a little suspicious. Oh.
No. I'm not even a little suspicious. I'm telling you right now, we were like 27 little, what did we buy? Like little Coronas?
Yeah.
Remember, we bought the wrong type of Coronas. I'm sitting there, I'm like, what an odd choice.
Black Mirror isn't an odd choice. It's not an odd choice.
No, Black Mirror is an amazing show. I just thought that was peculiar.
Well, I definitely put it on to make you. I was like, this is gonna be funny to watch his reaction. I knew you would be very uncomfortable.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Where was I going with any of this?
Something about pole dancing, and I don't know.
No, we're not doing pole dancing. The race. So there's obviously this rumor has been going on forever, though.
What's that?
But the idea that they're gonna make a Reed Richards a person of color, and there's a rumor that the guy that they cast from The Good Place is secretly Reed Richards.
You know what my issue, my secondary issue with the race swapping thing is? So a part of me is so against it because I don't like the unwarranted attention it brings in, because it's not something that's unifying people around going to see these movies, right? You're actually giving ammunition to the people who are just going to sit around and shit on this stuff and fill the internet with negative narratives about this. And then I asked myself the next question as a black man who's proud to be in his skin. Do I need the type of representation that comes at the cost of Reed Richards being anything other than what he was visually in the comics? No, I don't. I'm the type of black man that recognizes that T'Challa isn't actually the third smartest person in Marvel Comics. He's right up there with Valoria, Dr. Doom, and Reed Richards. So why would I need Reed Richards to be black when I'm okay with T'Challa? You understand what I'm saying? Like, why do I need these characters to represent me in that way?
I do agree with you that it does bring horrible negative press that they don't really need. And it becomes the opposite of what they're looking to do. Instead of bringing people together, it purposely tears them apart.
Right. And you'd be surprised. Go to blurred groups. I want you to actually go on Facebook because that's the only place these things exist.
Right.
Blurred group and ask them, do you need Reed Richards to be black? Thousands of people. Thousands of black people are saying no.
Like, no. Put in an actual black character. Yeah, put in an actual black character, then change it. I agree with you. And another thing is, I think it's worse when it's a character like Reed Richards as opposed to Wonder Man. I admit Wonder Man is a level character.
He's throwaway.
Not many people are going to care that he's been racial swapped. Some people won't even know that he was racial swapped because they won't know him.
Yeah, that's when you know it's the fringe people just reporting on something and they need something to report on.
Right.
But it's like you make
Reed Richards is one of the big ones.
He's one of the whitest guys that ever did exist.
The whitest guy ever.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And it has nothing to do with his capability, right? It's like, but in regards to Wonder Man, I need to see. So here's the thing. So we're gonna dip back into YouTuber X, Wiccan, and all this stuff, right? So you got Vision Quest, we got Wonder Man. I'm not absolutely convinced that these things are gonna overlap. And in fact, even if Wiccan and Hulkling and Wiccan's brother, I forget his name, if they're introduced, I don't think any of this stuff. Yeah, Speed. I don't think any of this stuff is going to tie in. I think the ship has sailed on that. I actually think that I would prefer if Wonder Man, the Yaya interpretation of Wonder Man, or Yaya playing Wonder Man, do it as a one-off. Do it like a Werewolf by Night. Make a great story. Instead of 45 minutes, make it an hour and a half. Test the waters that way, and I think I would be more into it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if it's a great story, give me an hour and a half. I don't need 8 episodes of whatever the fuck this is going to be.
I will say there's only one Young Avenger I'm really looking forward to. Another brother, Patriot.
I like Patriot.
Isaiah Bradley's grandson.
Yeah.
Who we met in Falcon. He's the guy who answered the door.
Right.
I can't wait to see him in action. That's going to be great. I don't know if I like these other yahoos.
You love this shit, man. You secretly.
I don't like the Young Avengers because this is gonna be so corny. Imagine, if Miss Marvel annoyed me, imagine how annoyed I'm gonna be by an entire show of them running around. Oh God, that's gonna be.
I thought Marvel had learned their lesson. I thought we were moving in a different direction, but I guess that takes us to our next topic because this is just kind of like divisive. Early reviews for Wakanda Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Wakanda Forever have been released. They've been extremely positive, man. The one issue that's unanimously been brought up is there's some pacing issues, right? So for the people who had access to it, they said it was an amazing movie, an emotional movie, return to form for Marvel, but there were some pacing issues. Now, moving into the people who didn't get to see the movie, but there was one person, a man by the name of Ramos, who saw it, and he didn't enjoy it. And he said he couldn't put his finger on it, and there was an issue, and a lot of people jumped on that. The issue was that Chadwick wasn't in it, or that T'Challa is not in the film. So, your thoughts?
Okay. I'm going to be real right now.
Yeah.
It is possible. I had a feeling that every single person who walked out of the first screening was going to love it. Because I have a feeling that the memorializing of Chadwick is going to be epic, amazing, and emotional, and it's going to touch on all our heartstrings.
Okay.
I'm willing to bet that the other parts of the movie are not perfect. I'm not saying they're not good because I haven't seen it. I don't know. I'm not even predicting it being bad. But people are like, this is a 100 movie. I'm like, I doubt that when they had to rework the script and do all this shit. There's probably some issues with it.
Right. Okay. I got
right.
you.
And so I am. I am skeptical. I do think that during our first viewing, we are going to be swept away with emotion and be like, "Oh my god, this is a touching memorializing of Chadwick." And I bet you in our second and third, we'll be able to see the flaws, whatever those are.
Right. I would agree with that assessment. I've heard thus far, what you've heard from the early reviews. Namor is amazing. The action is amazing. There's just some slight pacing issues. And for the people who are saying that the one guy who saw it and he couldn't put his finger on it, I am firmly in the camp of recast T'Challa. I've always been in that camp. I think it's what Chadwick, I don't have any proof to this, but his brother came out, Chadwick Boseman's brother came out and said it. I think he would have wanted this part recast it. And it's because T'Challa, not Chadwick, even though he was a great representation of Chadwick, he played that character extremely well, his version of it. I think T'Challa is too central to Black Panther for him not to be in it.
Yeah, that is the question. We'll see if it is Shuri. I'm assuming it's Shuri. I'm like 99% sure it's Shuri.
Right.
We'll be able to hold a flame up to Chadwick. In her future, every time she is featured.
You don't sound sure about this movie at all. Like you don't sound sure you like it.
I feel you that. Here's what I'm saying. It has to be missing something because it won't have Chadwick.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it has to. There's no way somebody's like, it's a perfect movie. I'm like, they had to last minute rewrite it because the main actor died. That's not going to be easy to fit. There's no way that's easy to fix.
And in regards to pacing issues, it is a 2 hour and 40-minute prior to credit movie. So it wouldn't surprise me if there's some issues with pacing. I'm picking my.
I hate long movies.
Do you really?
Here's what it is. I'd rather movies be broken up into two than have one long one where I'm sitting there.
You would rather a 1 hour and 20-minute Black Panther movie?
No, like. What I'm saying, one thing I couldn't stand about the Batman is how long it is. I was just thinking, I was like, is this over yet? Is this over yet? Is this over yet? Can I go? At least if you binge a show, you can take breaks between the shows.
Right.
I am worried. I'm worried about the comic book nature of it. I'm sure they're going to nail memorializing, but I'm just worried about the other stuff.
Action seems to be good. Namor seems to be represented well.
I heard some people suggest that they're like Namor is basically the only guy in it, and that they even said that M'Baku is strangely he's in almost none of it. And I'm like, what? And they're like, it was missing M'Baku. They're missing a male presence, basically.
Yeah.
They're saying. And so
it's interesting you bring this up because someone brought up the point that the reason that people resonate with Black Adam is because it was the return to form for masculine superhero.
An alpha superhero instead of Beta Cox.
Beta, take my wife. I'm okay with it.
Public says, I'm so excited for Wakanda Forever.
I am too. I am as well.
Says, I'm not excited for Black Panther 2. They didn't recast, and that's a huge problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Steve is right. Oh, wow. He was
better words.
Recast. He's a great character, and no one owns a character. I agree. We'll see.
Yeah, because the Shuri being Black Panther is contingent upon Doom War, right? There's a whole story that happens, and she only has the mantle in an official capacity for a short period,
time in the comics,
very short period. And it was really just an arc leading into New Avengers, where you see Shuri have a triumphant last stand against what is Thanos' group called? The Call Obsidian Black.
One of the guys is called. That's the name of the guy. I forget what they're called. The Ebony or Ebony Maw
is the guy.
They all have some variation of the word black in their name. So
they all have names that sound like it should be depicted for a group. But her being the Black Panther is a very small, minute time after Doom War, and I think they missed the boat here, man. I think they misread what people wanted, and I think they did it in the attempt to not be offensive or not hurt anyone, but T'Challa is too essential to Black Panther. He's not a throwaway character. He is the Black Panther.
I think that's why swapping all these other guys because they realize they're like, we need black males in here quick.
Yeah,
but how bad does it look that like they only had one black male in their entire story? They have all these movies, a network of movies, and they only had one black guy. And then when the black guy dies, they're like, what are we going to do now? They're totally up shit's creek. So they have to start making up black guys.
There were actors they could have gone out there and got, right? And even if, man, if you wanted to just placate people and lead into the T'Challa becoming the king of the dead, obviously a story arc that happens right after Doom War as well. You know, Shuri becomes Black Panther proper. T'Challa becomes the king of the dead, and that's a great story. You could have had Killmonger come back. In fact, Michael B. Jordan said the other day, he was like,
I would hate that. I'd be done. I would not.
Listen, they shouldn't have killed him in the beginning.
They shouldn't have. I would agree with that. Maybe if they didn't kill him, there's an opportunity for that. But Marvel's stupid, and they love just friggin' killing guys for no reason.
Yeah, well, they're not the
villains all the time.
They're following the Michael Keaton Batman standard.
It's so stupid. It was so stupid to kill the Joker in the first place. They shouldn't have killed any of these guys. You know what I mean?
Absolutely not.
It's just it's crazy that like Captain America only fought Red Skull once. He should have keep returning. Like, how hard is that?
He said Ultron was killed.
You totally thought he's the one motherfucker who's like can't be killed. He just keeps going on.
But I'm still here. So here's some things I'm worried about going into Black Panther next Thursday, right? I am worried about the multiple mantles of Black Panther. I think that would be a cheesy thing, but you know, you can make anything work if it's done properly, I guess. I'm worried about the pacing issue, but that's about it, right? They just need to land this and do it right. I don't know where they go from this afterwards because I don't really care for Shuri enough for her to be Black Panther and see her in the Avengers, because then that lends into that gives credence to what you were saying. The Avengers roster as it stands, if they're unified now, is extremely weak. Right, like there were things I could ignore before.
These guys aren't even the West Coast Avengers.
It's extremely weak. It's extremely weak.
Yeah, it is absolutely extremely weak. Lainey says they were already going heavy into empowering women heroes, though maybe this was what they were leading to, or knowing that Chadwick was sick. I do believe that when Kevin Feige says he did not know that Chadwick was sick, that's a lie. He did know it. I think they assumed he had more time, and I do believe that they were going to give the mantle to Shuri at the end of the third movie. I do actually believe they were planning on it.
Third movie, not second.
Not second. They just had to crank it up, and not even during the third movie. I think like at the end of the third movie they were going to pass it on. The way War Machine or Bucky, not Bucky, Sam got it.
Yeah, but if they were going to do leading into Secret Wars, then that makes sense, because it's like he loses if they had the balls to do Doom as a part of this movie and it leads into the Doom Wars in some way, shape, or form, and Black Panther has to render all the vibranium inert, and then Wakanda turns against him for getting rid of their greatest resource. Yeah, and then you introduce, if they were going to go that route where T'Challa maintains the Black Panther mantle, but he's not Black Panther proper, yeah, that makes sense. But anything else is just this gap measure. But I'm still going into this movie. I'm taking my eldest son to see it. I'm sure we're gonna cry. Apparently, everyone cried that saw the movie, and that's all I can expect. Is it's gonna be emotional.
Tanak Herta is very hot. I don't care if he doesn't juice. Yeah, he should juice. He should absolutely juice his frame. He needs more muscle. I'm like, I do not believe you have super strength. I certainly don't believe you're invulnerable. You look like cookie dough, my man. You look like cookie dough. He does look very handsome. I can tell. Like I do like his machismo he's putting off in these trailers, right?
So I have to be honest about another thing why I'm looking forward to Black Panther, and it's so superficial, but it was something that Black people, not just African Americans.
You want to see Black people beat up on Hispanics? I get it.
No, that's actually something I'm not looking forward to. It was something that Black people were so united around, like the phenomenon of Black Panther, which was not a perfect movie, but the social phenomenon it caused was so amazing. I'm looking forward to that experience again, but I don't know how you pull that off again, right? The first time I think was something amazing. Like I have a friend, you met him, EK, and he was on Talking with His Dad, right? And we've had some great conversations about differences between Nigerians in Africa and Nigerians in America and African Americans, the black diaspora, etc. But the one thing we both agreed on was that this movie was important, and it brought a great conversation to it, and it did it well. I don't know how they can follow that up, but I'm gonna go check it out, man, and we'll see what happens.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm super excited. Even though I'm talking about my doubts and my worries, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be there opening day.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't invite you is because you're light skinned.
I know you don't want to be seen in the theater with a light skin.
I don't.
No, but like you're gonna run into some other people from the Black Illuminati. And they're gonna be like, Steven, how are you? Who is this? And you're like, oh, I just bumped into this guy. I know. I know him from 3 jobs ago. I don't know.
I found him outside. I felt bad for him. I bought him a ticket.
And you know the truth is, I would understand if you pulled that card. I want you to get into that Black Illuminati.
Well, remember, according to that one crazy TikToker, you know what she said.
Us light skins are not welcome. We have to go buy tickets for people. I don't have a job, but I got to go buy a ticket for dark skins and then guard the theater in case violence is coming. I don't know why violence would come. Like, what is this chick talking about? RM says Shuri should have been the next Iron Man type character. Ray Williams is not necessarily.
Agreed.
I absolutely agree.
If you're gonna redo something in lore, that would have made the most sense.
That would have made the most streamlined because she already had like kind of a connection with Iron Man. She's already a tech genius. She should have taken over the mantle of that and been like, I'm doing it, for the good of the order, and she become Ironheart. I
absolutely. I can't wait to get to Matt's comment.
Yes, Tenak Karta is only reason I'm excited for it. I like that he's a little fat. Okay. I wonder. I'm not even going to touch that one. Because here's what I'm saying. I've got stupid questions. I'm going to ask stupid questions. Now, I am not a Mexican in any way, and I don't really know the traditional ways. Do you think the reason they didn't have him shaved to be Namor is that would be more of like an Aztec thing, or what is he, Mayan in this movie, or Aztec, or?
We don't know. We don't know what.
Oh, right. He's one of the old empires. But like, is there a reason is that like a cultural thing why he didn't shave his?
I mean, the depiction of Mayans on like the hieroglyphs and in their pyramids or the temples, you don't see any facial hair that I've ever recognized. So that would be more of a modern thing.
I think that's like a modern thing. And then also is the fact that he didn't get jacked up, is that a Central American thing? Where they're like, we like our guys fat. I mean, Central Americans do like their men a little chubby.
Wow.
I'm a big papa in the Latino community. They like what I got here.
Matt says, well, I'm not going to see this movie opening weekend because a TikToker told me that as a white, I should buy a ticket for a black person and stand guard and go see it the second week.
Well, I don't have money to buy anyone else a ticket, so
RM, your statement is a broad over generalization because you've obviously never lived in California before. I've seen some of the best brochures and beards ever in Southern California.
Matt says, I'm bummed Namor isn't from Atlantis, but is it that they're making Atlantis from just like a colony from Central America? Is that what they're doing?
I don't know. I haven't seen the movie, but I
don't understand. I don't understand it either. But I wouldn't say he's not from Atlantis. I think they're just changing the culture that Atlantis is.
Right.
I feel like his body is very traditional. I don't know if the facial hair is part of that. Yeah. I do think he looks great. I do think he absolutely looks. The character design is wonderful.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I know so many Mexicans with beards.
Yeah. Brochures.
Yeah. Yeah, but isn't the city that's supposed to be Atlantis a real place?
So they've always speculated that it was in the Mesopotamian area.
Yeah, I'm saying like it's not really a real place. It's like a pseudo myth. It's really mythological. People don't know if it existed, but ancient men used to talk about it. This great city, and island.
LOL, I was married to a Mexican man and have a half Mexican kid who can't grow beards. I'm using anecdote. It's the best.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up, but like, I was literally gonna say, all right, maybe that's just your ex who can't grow.
Oh my goodness, public facial hair is very prominent in both Hispanic men and women. LOL. I just want to make sure for the people watching the recap, public is of Hispanic heritage,
Yes.
so they are allowed to make those statements.
Yeah. We love to walk the tightrope here on Fanboy Modeling School. So I'm excited. I'm going to be there opening day. Get a ticket. I'm going to go bright and early.
Okay.
I'm going to go bright and early, and usually, I've yet to ever encounter a sold out show from like the 10 a.m. showings, no matter what's new.
So I'm catching at 3:30. Still got the matinee prices on a Thursday, believe it or not, and I actually got one ticket for $9.99 because I have the AMC pass. So not paying for the other one. I think it's the appropriate way to see a movie, and it'll remove any bias. If I'm paying $40 for a movie, I'm gonna hold it to a very high standard.
I can't wait to gab about it. This is gonna be great.
It's gonna be amazing. Anything else we got going, man?
We do. I want to talk about something that I've been obsessed with for the last couple of days.
Go for it.
I love, and I've been obsessed. I never was obsessed with Twitter like this. I am so obsessed with Twitter because Elon stays trolling everybody.
All right, roll it out. I have to use the bathroom again because I broke the cap. But go ahead.
Well, I wanted you to hear this too. So, but who else is going opening day to Black Panther? I'm sure RM and Public are going opening day. But I honestly can't wait. And also, who's obsessed with Twitter? I actually know Public Friend and RM are obsessed with Twitter because I see you on Twitter. I'll be there on Saturday. RM, I can literally not take you anywhere. You realize that the entire movie will be spoiled for you by Friday. Laney says I'll be working. Oh, you guys are depressing the hell out of me. Oh, real quick, you watching Doom Patrol or Titans? So Matt, I am not. I couldn't stand season 1 of Titans. It drove me nuts. I love the Teen Titans. They're like one of my favorite groups. I could not believe what they did to them. It drove me up the wall. I couldn't stand like Starfire or Raven. Or really any of them. I couldn't stand any of their adaptations, and I hate that show. Doom Patrol, I did see first season, and I liked it. I just thought it could be better, I'm currently working hard to grow my Twitter presence. I can tell, RM. Soon you're going to be too popular to even like any of my posts. I'm obsessed with Twitter, says Public. But I do not ride Elon's dick like you do. Oh, I'm gonna ride his dick, and I'm gonna protect him all the way because he's a hero.
He's gonna ride it like
a hero. It's like a second job, says Arm. Any social media that you're trying to hustle on is a second job. YouTube is a second and third job for me.
For sure. Absolutely. Right, let's roll it out. What's going on? Big Daddy Elon whipping it out, putting it on the table, unbanning people.
So he canceled. The first thing he does when he gets in there, right? He cuts the engineers off and the moderators from being able to do anything because he wants his computer engineers to look through all the coding to see if it's efficient. And so while this is happening, what happens? A bunch of trolls from one of the 4chan or 8chan or something, they all get in there and they just start posting the word N-word all over the place as much as possible. So that day that they didn't have any moderation, N-words are just literally everywhere.
Nice.
And so he, of course, is like, you guys knew that we didn't have moderation for this day. After you, obviously, that's not organic. That was a scheme to mess with him. Then, after this whole Pelosi thing,
right?
With Pelosi, her man getting attacked by a guy who is either nude or in his underwear. I'm not sure if that detail is correct, but that's what I heard. With a hammer. I think it was Alex Stein 99, the comedian who told AOC she had a big beautiful booty. That comedian.
Sorry, he called it, let's get it correct. He said, "Oh, there's my favorite big booty Latina."
Latino, yes, there we go.
Took it too far. but
he started this thing saying that he's like, the guy was naked. Maybe he's Pelosi's husband's lover.
Yes, and then that got legs, and people started believing that.
And then somebody wrote an article on it, and then to troll Hillary Clinton, Elon himself retweets the article, and he says to Hillary Clinton, he's like, but maybe there's more to the story.
Yeah.
And this is clearly to troll her, but people lost their friggin' minds. They were like, this man, how dare he spread disinformation, and they didn't find it funny.
Right. No. Joke didn't land well.
Finally, major part of drama is he's decided that he's going to, the blue check marks on Twitter, he's going to charge them $20 a month to keep that. Really? And he announces, because here's what it is. They're using, people who blue check marks are usually either brands or like journalists or just important people, and they use Twitter as an advertising.
Right.
And having that blue check mark is really like a badge of like, you can advertise. And so what he's saying is, you profit off of this. I'm going to charge you. I'm not going to charge the little man. I'm going to charge you rich guys.
Right.
Stephen King has a tirade over it.
Really?
He literally cursed in his tweet, Stephen King. He says, fuck that. You should pay me to stay on this fucking app. He says, if you do that, I'm out of here. Oh my God. I'm all loving it.
Okay. So the conversation around free speech is always an interesting one, because if I was a billionaire, not the pressing issue buying Twitter that I would have used my money for it, but I digress. In regards to this, though, do you really think beyond just trolling and causing general mayhem and anarchy, do you think there's an end goal for Elon with this, right? How does this bring us any closer together? Because allow me to be a philosophy major from Eugene Lang. If you know this school from Manhattan, they're the most notorious liberal philosophical people you ever meet. But I've always got mad love for my fan from Eugene Lang. But allow me to go from their point. How does this unify us at all? This version of free speech, how does it bring us closer together as a people group in any way, shape, or form?
So I'll tell you what's going on. I'm going to tell you, and I can only speak as the Mantis.
Okay.
Right?
But I'm going to make sure my question was clear.
It's clear.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is, it ultimately probably doesn't, and I'll tell you why. Because the left is having such a tirade over it hasn't happened yet, but the very concept that other people get to speak and they don't have a safe haven that protects them from their little thought bubbles and protects their ideas, that they are blanketed away from other people's ideas, that they are leaving. They're going to leave in droves. They're going to flip out. They're not allowing the experiment of getting along to happen. They are so overwhelmed by the idea that other people get to speak. It's offensive to them. But I will tell you this, as someone who was discriminated against by the former policies of the old regime, that is why I love this. I love it that now I get to speak. I didn't get to speak. I got banned because that dude and his trolls, a bunch of guys, a guy with a blue check mark, decided he didn't like me criticizing him. And he had me determined to be a bot. And I'm not, my old account wasn't, I had over 1,000 followers. I wasn't allowed to tweet all of a sudden. And it took years for me to get those followers. And I was disenfranchised from that situation. And I just got to say, for all the guys who run that, everyone who lost their job, everyone who's pissed off, every libtard who's upset about that, go fuck yourself. Because now the Mantis gets to speak. And I'm fucking happy. Go to the new blue sky they're creating. Go to Tribe Social. Do the same stupid shit people did when they went to Parler. Failed, pathetic little apps that aren't going to make it. But you can go fuck yourselves while I'm having fun on Twitter. Having the fun you used to have. Amen.
So the pendulum swings back and forth, left and right.
Mic drop.
I think there's a better chance of, and you're not going to like this take, but I'm agreeing with you, but I disagree in one portion. There's a better chance of a liberal-based platform taking off than there is Parler and a right-leaning platform. For sure. There's a better chance of that.
You know what it is? It's already a problem. It's already split three ways. There's already three competing ones.
Okay.
That I hear different people. It's like some people are like, there's Jack Dorsey, the guy who originally made Twitter, is making a sky blue thing. There's already Mastodon, which is hyper liberal and hyper LGBT. Like I some people say like when they go on it, all they see is gay porn on there, and they're like, I've never been on it, Mastodon, but they're saying there's that, and then there's what was the other one? Oh, Tribe Social.
Okay.
Not to be confused with Truth Social, and that's supposed to be super liberal. So they can't even decide where they're going, and so that's where the failure is going to be. If they all decided to go to one app, maybe.
So you're
I agree with you.
So you're saying essentially, and then this is not an attack. This is not, I'm not doing a red herring. I'm not trying to draw you into a debate. You're saying from your vantage point that there is no chance of any unity because the people who are in control or people who enjoyed those liberties from being in control aren't going to give this social experiment of people being allowed to have social discourse
right
in a healthy, robust way. So there's no chance of that.
Because it's literally offensive to them, the idea that there is freedom of speech.
So, but this is, so I'm just assuming the point of people and assuming that their integrity is intact, is intact. At what point are certain types of language not permissible on this platform?
So here's what it is. Everyone's worried. They're like, this is going to go the way of madness or whatever. And at the end of the day, the App Store will not allow an app that allows like swastikas or neo-Nazi recruitment or like N-words being dropped. You know, N-words will be dropped obviously on social media, but you need to moderate and get them.
Yeah, you got to put an A after it.
Yeah. No, if they don't moderate, the App Store is gonna cancel them anyway. Yeah. So there's literally no way Elon Musk, who wants to make his money back, is not gonna follow at least those rules. But people were worried. They're like, this is gonna be the N-bomb central, but it's not. It would be ridiculous because he would lose the App Store and therefore lose all his money.
So the only people I want to see deplatformed from any social media, and I'm fine with this, I'll stand on it. ISIS and other Islamic extremist groups.
Yeah, like they let them
the
on
Ku
Twitter.
Klux Klan, the modern day Nazis, black extremists, Latino extremists, anyone sowing discourse in regards to violence being the answer.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Should be 100% deplatformed. I have no problem saying that. Anyone else that has like views that are open for debate and they're willing to have intellectual discourse, let them on the platform. That's always been my stance. But anyone that supports groups that actually, in Christian extremists, quote unquote Christian extremists, anyone that wants to visit physical violence, they should be deplatformed immediately.
But like honestly, I absolutely agree with you. I would absolutely agree that somebody who is into like violence or all these things should. And here's what it is: a company should moderate and control that.
And let me be even more clear.
They should moderate things. Obviously, don't let free speech reign. Like it's not an experiment in madness.
Violence against innocent parties. I want to be clear on that.
I don't even think you should be able to tweet somebody, "I'm going to go punch you" or something. I don't think you should.
Yeah, no. Get the fuck out with that bullshit.
But honestly, it got to the point where they're banning people who are like, they may have a thought on COVID or a thought on masks, or they might be like, I'm very pro-Trump. I mean, I don't know how. I'm not pro-Trump, so I don't know what the Trump people went through. I'm sure they're claiming that they hit some hard shit.
Well, here's a good example, right? You love the show at ATL Atlanta, correct? And you love the character on ATL that may or may not be a real person, but is their spiritual guide. What's that actor's name and that character's name, or at least the character's name? The one that
so that's what's his face, the Nigerian guy. I'm drawing a blank right now,
but you know who I'm talking
about. Yeah, it's Lakeith Stanfield's character.
Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield. Yeah. So he had an interesting take where free speech reigns on it, and it was on IG today. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, but it is almost verbatim, that if you're for gangster music, you can't be for black people.
Right? That's what I'm saying. I sort of believe that.
No, you don't have to believe it, but that is the type of tweet that is permissible in a new regime of Twitter, right? You should be able to express that. And some people definitely should be able to express that. Are you kidding me? Absolutely. Some people would lean into that, right? So, okay, I got you. I get you.
Absolutely. I honestly do think that particular topic you brought up is nuanced and deserves a long discussion. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously there's a lot to analyze about rap, and there's different forms of rap, and obviously you got to go into what is what, and What is it? What is destroying the community? What is not?
Right. Okay.
Public. He has the humor of a guy who still watches Ray William Johnson. Agreed. Public. He's so corny. He's the worst kind of dad jokes combined with the rich man. The Mantis is wrong. Public says, "Okay, I'll go fuck myself." Okay, so of course they took it personal. Of course, the mean things that I was saying was directed at people who oppressed my freedom of speech. I assume Public is not a person who oppressed my freedom of speech, so clearly that was not directed at them. But sometimes people take things personal.
No, Public would definitely address, be willing for discourse.
Yeah. Tumblr is now allowing artistic nudes again. So as soon as they bring back porn, the kids are going back. Yo, Tumblr might come back. I heard Vine might come back.
Vine might be. Yeah, I heard that as well.
Your narrative that people don't like what Elon is doing because they don't want healthy discourse is just not true. In my experience, it is. And I guess you didn't stay long enough to have that discourse and tell us what's up. Dude, Mantis, you have said before that you're cool with Nazis being on public platforms before. Aren't you a free speech absolutist? No. So I'm absolutely not. I'm absolutely not. Here's what I'm saying. I do believe that a company being obviously everyone brings up the argument. A company should be able to control the speech of anything they want on their platform. I agree with that.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I think that they are too banned. They you know what I'm saying? Like the things I see people are banned for. I'm like using the word like. Remember when this was only like a month ago. Groomer became like something you could be banned.
Right.
That's totally insane. You know what I'm saying? I just think that there needs to be more leeway. And Elon going into it actually said he is pro. What he believes is he believes that his idea of Twitter is that you regulate to the minimum. You don't go past the minimum line.
Well, it's funny you brought up the term groomer because on both sides of the spectrum, I have an issue with that term, right? I have an issue with people who are allowed to be groomers if they are verified and validated as groomers. You know, I would think that would be in front of a court of law or some evidence stating that they are these things. But I think the accusation of making someone a groomer or accusing someone of a groomer, being a groomer is, it's dangerous. So my ideal social media platform would be, yes, I don't mind engaging with white supremacists on these platforms, right? I have no issue debunking their ideas. They're usually just confounded, nonsensical points, all derivative from Mein Kampf and bullshit 1884 principles. I do have an issue, however, where they're allowed to espouse violence and do meetups, right? That shit. And I'm not cool with it on the other side of the spectrum. This is me speaking, not Mantis. That's the only way I would want this thing policed, right? I don't think gangs, right? I don't think gangs should be allowed to post videos of people getting beat up.
Yeah, I don't want it to be World Star Hip Hop or something like that. No, that would be horrible.
World Star, in my opinion, should be deplatformed immediately. I'm
fine. Wait, hold on. Here's the thing. I'm fine with that existing if that's what somebody who owns that website wants to do. But I would hate if that stuff started coming onto Twitter. That would be too far.
Yeah, but they shouldn't be able to post it. They shouldn't be able to post links of violent actions on Twitter or on Facebook. And they got away with doing that.
Oh yeah, World Star just has people dying of gunshot wounds, people getting stabbed and stuff. I've seen some of the worst stuff I've ever seen in my life on that website.
And we're being consistent. ABC News should be like, hey, come check out the full article or video on our site. But you're a shill for Elon. How much?
He pays me $40,000 a month and a seat.
I knew it the minute we went to Popeyes before we went to go see Black Adam, and the fact that you got the correct hot sauce and I got the watered down shit, I was like,
I flashed him the Elon sign and he was like, oh.
We'll get him the buffalo
sauce. I agree that the rules are too tight. But it's always been because of advertisers, not because the people are using the app. It's giving them way too much power. Advertisers are the reason censorship has been so tight. Okay,
that's a good take.
That is a good take. That is absolutely a good take. I would just say that but here's what I'm saying: don't conservative wear shoes too? Don't conservatives buy things? Don't
Unfortunately, not in droves.
And it's just really what a lot of these advertisers are. They're targeting urban areas.
Yeah.
which are more likely to be left, right?
I've always wanted to ask you, what did you think about that brief moment in time where Kanye was thinking about buying Parler?
You want to talk about Kanye? Let's talk about Kanye.
No, we're not talking.
I'm fine with talking about Kanye, but like that he's a different animal because here's the whole thing. People are and once again, I think public is pointing out that I shouldn't arbitrarily point out that everyone or generalize, and it's true. I might have done some generalizing because I'm pissed about my past with Twitter, but I think there's a lot of chatter thinking that Elon wants to crash Twitter into the ocean. The truth is, he wants to find a way to make his money back.
Yeah, he wants to
make that cash money. And so he's not going to turn it into a crazy house. However, Kanye, I honestly think at this point, he doesn't play by any rules. Because you heard about, did you hear that after he got kicked off of Twitter, he went on Parler and continued anti-Semitic rants?
No, but I know he was streaming on YouTube for a week straight.
And I don't know what he said, so I do not want to say that. I'm not going to say he did anti-Semitic rants. I just heard that's what people are saying about him.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa, you don't even learn. And I don't know if he's capable of learning. He's been cut off from so many brands, so many connections.
Right. TJ Maxx said no to Kanye. They don't even say no to homeless people that pee on their building.
Did you hear about when fucking what is it? Goodwill said you cannot donate Kanye West brand items to us.
Yeah.
He's gonna buy Parler? Parler is nothing. It's a meteor strike in the ground.
So these are all like talking points. There was the Parler conversation. There was the fact that Candace Owens might not have him on the podcast to espouse his views, which I thought were, which makes sense because, Ben Shapiro is owner, proprietor of Daily Wire. So if Ben Shapiro says no, then it's no, right? So I just find it interesting what is considered free speech and what isn't considered free speech.
And so obviously, I just think there should be more free speech. I don't think it should be absolute. In my life, I'm an absolutist. I do believe that, for instance, I do believe that Nazis should be able to, do whatever they shouldn't be messed up just because they're Nazis. They need to break the law first. But in terms of the internet, I do think it's an app's responsibility to moderate something.
No, 100%. I mean, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So now if I'm switching lanes and I'm pointing this at my more liberal friends, they were all saying, hey, you don't like it, go to a platform where you can espouse your views and be happy. And it's the same thing now for you, right? If you don't like what's happening with Twitter, find somewhere else to espouse your views. The next thing is when it was a privately owned company, we were like, hey, they get to dictate their terms. A lot of liberals use that talking point. So now Elon owns it. So now he gets to dictate the terms. You see how the pendulum swings back and forth. So
right.
This is my thing with this whole conversation. You got to be consistent. When it was swinging in your favor, you were like, oh, well, they do get to decide the terms of conversation. Well, now he decides.
Now that it's on the other side. And so it's true that it was tacky that he reposted misinformation. However, I will say this. I don't think people should be banned or shut down for having misinformation. I think people have the right to post conspiracy theories if that's what they want to do.
I digress from that opinion slightly, maybe more than slightly, right? I think conspiracy theories can be dangerous when they're not.
Anything can be dangerous. Any type of talk can be dangerous.
But specifically when it comes to certain topics, right? When it comes to medical, when it comes to historical information, unvalidated information can be dangerous if it's swaying people to
Let me ask you, do you take medical advice from people you see on Twitter or on social
media? No, I have the wherewithal not to do that.
Okay.
I only get medical advice from my doctor. But I do recognize that if we're going to see that certain things can sway public consumption and public maneuvering, then we have to be responsible, right?
Well, so, where do we draw the line?
Well, here's the thing. Historically, right? We understand that Mein Kampf is a dangerous book, right? You and I would both say that's a dangerous book.
Ooh, I don't like the phrase dangerous book.
We would both say that Mein Kampf is filled with lies.
Racism, yes. It's filled with lies and racism, yes.
Okay. So we were both agreed that maybe that should not be readily available.
I don't think it should be banned. I don't believe in banning books in any.
No, okay. So do you think it should be in the public library, for instance?
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would be the start of really banning it.
Under what terms should it be available in the public library?
Well, here's what I'm saying. People do papers on Mein Kampf all the time because they got to study the dude, right?
Right.
So I'm just saying you shouldn't allow a student to have access to it.
But
right?
okay, so you use a perfect example. What people study Mein Kampf? And what
sociologists or historians?
Okay, exactly. So maybe we don't want it in the same library where your 3-year-old.
Right. Okay. So if you mean should Mein Kampf be in an elementary school library? No, it shouldn't. If we're talking about the New York Public Library, the one with the lions, the big fucking one where you go to research.
Big fuck
yes,
yeah. You're talking about the one on 34th Street.
Yeah, that massive one. Yes, I would say yes.
Right. The librarian, that disgruntled person, should be like, "Hey, are you of age?" Right?
I hope they're not handing it over to. Yeah, maybe.
If you can't watch a chick take a dick in the ass on a video beyond the age of 18, you should not be able to read Mein Kampf. If you're not 18,
I'm fine. I would be fine if the New York Public City Library was like came up to people wanted to take it out and they'd be like, "Let me see your ID."
Yeah.
The public says, "Yeah, not the same. Advertisers aren't liberals either. They just want to make money, and the more censored content is what more people can watch it, and the more they can advertise." That makes sense.
Yes.
Matt says, "I had to bail for a hot minute. F that Skylar guy. I totally loathe him." Wait, Skylar guy?
Fuck Skylar.
Oh, he meant Kanye. It got auto-corrected. Yeah, Elon and Kanye are not the same. Yeah, Kanye, I have to pray for Kanye. I don't know what is up with my man. I used to love Kanye too, man. I don't know if I don't not love him, right. But he is on a path of self-destruction right now.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that.
I really like Kanye's clothes. That shit is too expensive, though. I hope it does sales during the whole thing. Yo, Saturday Night Live made a really funny joke. They said Kanye's relationship with anti-Semitism is the worst thing that happened to him since a puddle. And they show a picture of him wearing his Kanye shoes that have all the holes in them.
Yeah.
Those shoes are ugly, man. I don't agree with that.
Yeezys. I hate Yeezys. I think they're the worst shoes ever.
Matt's like, I agree. I'm a total absolutionist when it comes to free speech. In the personal realm of the world, I do believe that. I understand why radio, television, and the internet needs to have some sort of editing or whatever. Need all this Twitter stuff to happen, but with YouTube, oh my God, I would love it if someone took over YouTube or made Rumble possible. So, one of the thoughts on what they're going to do with is Elon saying that in addition to the blue check mark, when you pay for the monthly service, he'd give you like blue check mark. He'd give you like your searches go to the top of the algorithm. And then another thing he says is he wants to have a video streaming app where you can put long form content videos on Twitter.
I think you should also have a $ next to if you pay for your blue check mark.
Instead of a check mark, it should just be a $.
A $ and a blue check mark, because that lets me know that you're paying for this, right? You're paying for the right to be saying what you're saying versus someone who just is a celebrity who has some thoughts and they woke up after their matcha tea and they decided to say some shit.
This is the thing. Like Stephen King flipped out and he cursed out Elon Musk because Elon Musk wants to charge him, and like he doesn't have $20 a month. Like he's fucking filthy rich. Stephen.
He might not.
Maybe not. But the fact is that what's funny is like he's a blue check mark. He's a leader of the community, and he's cursing out the owner of the company like a freaking wild old man, like an old geezer.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like, and I'm saying you're already proving why you shouldn't have a check mark because you're an asshole.
I'm just saying, in regards to free speech, I'm not against free speech in any way, shape, or form. I just recognize that there are nuance. There's things we need to address. And in regards to engaging people, if I want to debate with a white supremacist, I should be able to do that. But we should both be bound by the same rules in regards to our
yes,
platform.
all people should be on the same rules and all these other things. And Yeah, I've heard too many horror stories of people getting banned for really stupid reasons, and it drives me
Right.
nuts. Same thing on YouTube. I agree with Matt. There needs to be some sort of revolution on YouTube,
Well,
or Rumble
YouTube is
needs to.
better than Twitch. I'm just going to tell you outright, man. That's the reason that there's I won't say a mass exodus, but why so many big content creators are leaving Twitch. And it all starts with hot tubs, right? It starts with the treatment of hot tub content creators,
Yeah, they're
the
mistreated.
treatment of normal content creators. So yeah,
Well, they're treated the way porn stars are treated in the real world, but they're not even porn stars.
no, they're not treated the same way because porn stars are shunned on. They're like, whoa,
They're,
this is
they're
star
treated like real crap. They're treated like real crap. But it's not, the way people talk about it, I see some YouTubers and they're like, Amberath, this scummy hoe who takes advantage of young men. And I'm like, are you kidding me? They should,
Not
they are
taking
paying for a
advantage.
sexy girl. Like,
Wait,
get off
let's talk about Amareth for a second, man. This should have been an honorable mention.
Oh, the
Amareth,
husband thing.
the husband thing, madness.
She
Right?
took him back, didn't she? She took him back.
Did she?
Yeah, I think she took him back.
Oh man, maybe we shouldn't talk about it. Never mind. Moving on. Back to
Wait, real quick with the things. Public says, I think it should be in the public library. I laugh out loud. I think it should
talking
be
about Minecraft.
Yeah, I'm fine with that idea that, like, here's what I'm saying. Like, they'll say, like, you shouldn't be able to restrict firearms. But of course, I don't think it's wrong to have a background check or to check ID or to make sure someone isn't a crazy person who buys a gun.
Wait, that's a restriction. So you're talking about degrees of restriction. You're talking about reasonable versus unreasonable, right? You should have, if you have to be 18 or you have to be 18 to buy cigarettes, you should have to be 18 to acquire a high velocity firearm.
Yes. Or look in the restriction section of the library. I think it's all good. I think it's all the same.
Yeah. I'm with that.
Okay, so I actually don't know where public stands on on free speech because now I'm lost. But this is interesting. But you should still be able to check it out.
So I think that history should be studied accordingly, right? And I think when it comes to the conversation of a book like Mein Kampf, I'm not upset if my kid at the age of, let's say 14, right? Whatever warrants in literary age in a school, studies it with the aid of a professor as a moment in the history.
Right.
I'm okay with that. I don't think you should have access to the book free willy-nilly at the age
like
of
you're saying, like an incel is checking out, and he's just like, the great Hitler says.
No, exactly.
Like it's Bible. Matt also believes it should be in the library. No, the Insider guy isn't his. Oh, that's just okay. So the guy who destroyed me on Twitter, I didn't realize. I forgot his name was Skylar. Yes.
Oh yeah, the Disney guy.
The Disney Insider guy. Oh, thank you, Matt. I did not realize that. But he went for me, man. He absolutely went for me. And the powers that be did not want to re-allow my account to come back. They're like, sorry. And it's all because of the power of this asshole who did this to me. And I felt silenced and disenfranchised. I stopped using Twitter. I stopped using it for months. I spent years getting like over 1,000 followers. I loved it actually for a while there. And so now I have a new account because, and I have like 80 followers right now. Like it sucks to start again, No,
100%. And that's why I believe that, being monetized shouldn't be behind a subscriber wall. You come on the platform. If people are interested, they should be able to donate at their free will. Right. And there should be no restriction. And I think that when it comes to conglomerates being able to shadow ban or impact smaller content creators, unless they're espousing violence on these social media platforms, it shouldn't happen. But you got to do that across the board, right? Sure, the Bloods should not have a foothold on social media. The Taliban shouldn't have a foothold on social media. Leave it for well-reasoned people like our
Public says I don't think she took him back. I will definitely look that up. I'm not going to be nailed to the cross of whether she took him back. I heard it in hearsay. I don't really know. I'm pretty sure in absolute, it's just in terms of in real life rules. But I fucking hate Elon Musk. That's it. I don't like the narrative that liberals are the only ones who want to censor the other side. I think both sides are constantly fighting and trying to get each other on the. So here's what I'm saying, public. On a lot of these social media, I would say YouTube and Twitch, not Twitch, because Twitter, I would say liberals rule or have ruled so far. And I agree with you. I think if the right were the elitists, if they're like, we can say whatever we want and they can't say whatever they want, if they suddenly became equal, they too would flip out.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. It's an interesting conversation to have, right? So you look at what happened to, say, for instance, and this is the thing with social capital, as we were talking about in regards to you in public. But you look at what happened to the author of the Harry Potter books, right?
Yeah. And so here's what I'm saying. I may not agree with the things that she says. However, I follow with like what Ray Fiennes says, who played Voldemort. He says the amount of hate and the horrible things they say and do to her is over the top. It absolutely is what they do to this woman.
I'm gonna drop a link in the chat only for conversational purposes, right? Because we get into the topic of hate speech and what's hate speech, et cetera, et cetera. But there was a video that was reported on by O'Shea Du Jackson. Some people attribute him with being the true godfather of the Black Manosphere community. Like he might very well be the guy that kicked it off. Kevin Samuels was a guest of his.
I didn't know that.
On the Google Plus days. What was the name of their social media platform? Google.
It was Google. Was it? I think that was Google Plus.
Google Plus
was the
so media. He actually he's the guy I would attribute to giving Kevin Samuels his big break in regards to this whole conversation.
So it's interesting. Public says that there's a large group of leftists or sex workers who are getting banned on Twitter, and I didn't know about that because I actually follow a lot of.
I am aware of it. It is true. It is true
because I follow a lot of porn stars, and some of the things I see on their things, or at least they're tagged in, is crazy.
They have to walk the line, right? So a sex worker and a porn star, no matter how much you want to conflate these two things, are two entirely different things.
Okay.
And someone that's a porn star can post about their day-to-day life, but they cannot post in any way, shape, or form being monetized for being this thing, right? They can't solicit that. But so O'Shea Du Jackson covered something today that's extremely controversial, but I think it lends to the topic of free speech, and it's in regards to a transgender woman espousing why transgender women are better to date than traditional women. And I'm going to get the link for you. Now remember, in the realm of free speech, by the rules that have been set thus far, should this person be allowed to say these things?
Wait, hold on. Let's backtrack real fast.
Go for it.
You're sending us the soundbite of the trans person speaking.
The actual soundbite. And I want to normalize this. They're talking about this trans person, this trans woman is talking about why a trans woman would be more of a viable option for men to date than.
Well, I can't imagine that being that offensive.
It's not that offensive, right?
Right.
But by the standards, it's exclusionary. It's do you understand? What I'm
saying? Here's what I'm saying. I defend the right for someone to tweet a black man saying black men are better in bed. I don't find that I don't think that's offensive tweet. You know what I'm saying? Like.
So then what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I'll leave it to the audience. I'm not going to make your minds up for you. I just want you to think about it by your own standards. And I'm going to send it to you, the video I'm looking for right now. I got to go to my private chat with a certain group.
I think we need to save everybody, man. We need to save everyone. You're sending this to me in Discord?
I'm going to put it in the actual chat.
Oh, okay. Chat. Yo, I think we should liberate everyone's freedom, man. I think we should all be able to speak. I really do hope that there is an equal number of rights and lefts on Twitter. I think that everyone should be able to have a conversation.
Right.
I think that Skylar guy from the Disney Insider is an animal, and I hope COVID gets him.
Son of a bitch. All right, I dropped it in, and remember, I want the backdrop to be that what's permissible, what's allowed to be said, what's exclusionary, what's violence in words. That's why I think this whole conversation of free speech gets very diluted. What is actually violent speech and what's not?
Where did you drop it?
I dropped it in the chat, in the actual chat that the show we're doing right now. God damn it!
I don't see it.
I just literally dropped it. It's underneath Matt's comment.
Oh, it's not coming up.
Oh, the shadow banned us.
The shadow ban you. Here, I'm gonna go to YouTube and pull it out of there. But it's weird on StreamYard. It's not showing up.
Yeah, 100%. It's not showing up. I'm looking at the same thing.
You got shadow ban because you're already too hot.
Let me see. Wait, am I still in the chat right now? Oh shit!
What?
I dropped it twice. I'm gonna do it again.
Lady says nope, not there. And by the way, Matt says I agree with Steve. Monetization should be for everyone. We are providing the content for this platform, and they should pay us for it because without I agree. We are all producing for them.
It really isn't coming up. That's crazy. Yeah. I dropped it 3 times. Mantis, I'm gonna send it to you. You see if you can drop it.
What kind of link is it?
It's a YouTube link, and those 100% come up in YouTube.
I wonder why they would ban their own link, unless they already have that on a. Do you think they have that on a list that they don't want that they already have banned?
I don't know. I just sent it to you. You see if you can drop it.
Okay. Should we share it on this? Are we allowed to share this?
Yeah, it's on fucking YouTube. The video is still public on YouTube.
All right, guys. So
yeah, I'm gonna go to it.
Oh yeah, you know what? I may not be allowed to drop links and fight you if you didn't give me.
All right, guys.
Don't worry, we're gonna share it with everybody. Okay, so we're gonna share it.
Oh wait, no, 100%. Don't share the video. Drop the link I just sent you.
Okay. That's so funny. Okay, I was gonna share it. You don't want to share it. Okay, guys, just to let you know, I don't know what's on this. This is for the sheer discussion.
Discussion. We're not taking a stance against anyone.
I don't know if this is good, bad, whatever. We're just gonna talk about it.
So the question I'm talking about, Pubs, is in regards to the topic of free speech. This young trans lady is talking about. Wow, the link came up instantly when you did it.
Oh, that's fascinating.
In regards to free speech, what is hate? What is hate speech? What is controversial? What is offensive? Because this young trans lady in her best attempt is explaining why trans women would be a more viable option to date. That is the topic, right? So we can all agree that I said trans women, according to this trans young lady.
I'm jealous. Everyone else, I'm hosting the show, but I want to watch the video too.
Talking about why trans women would be a more viable option to date.
Here.
I would argue that if a binary woman said binary women are a more viable option to date, it would be a huge issue. And this is where I want to jump on Mantis's side and defend him, and why we need to be allowed to have these conversations on our own.
Right.
Why can't we have these conversations without being flagged, without being shadow banned?
Okay, so I'm not going to share my audio right now, but I'm going to watch the thing.
You don't watch it now. You're gonna look like a fucking pervert. Just with your eyes moving back.
No, not shit. So how do I know what we're talking about? That's the problem. Like, we don't discuss something I haven't seen.
This was not an assignment for tonight. I want people to walk away from this.
Okay.
Good God.
I think both
everything in my power to make sure.
Public says I think both women would get hate either way. So having not seen it. It sounds like something I would defend the right of its existence. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know. I don't understand. Like, normally, as a basis, I don't see what's wrong with talking about exclusionary, because people sometimes have reasons to be exclusionary. Like, for instance, if you're like, yo, Kung Fu is garbage compared to MMA or something.
Well, that's just a good take. That's just a good take. That's just a good take.
And so if a trans woman's like, yo, I fuck way better than a normal, biological girl. And a biological girl's like, nah, I do. I feel like that's fine to post or whatever, right?
But it lends itself to the conversation of what's free speech and what's permissible. Who gets to decide? Who gets to decide what conversations the masses get to have? I'm trying to defend you and your big daddy Warbucks.
We're going to Mars. We're going to Mars. And the question is, who's coming with me? Pubs, I know you hate him because he has dad jokes, but he's going to take us to Mars. Don't you want to go to Mars? Pubs, don't you want to go to Mars? Pub says because they are controversial and advertisers don't want that. Whether it's a cis woman saying it's better to date cis or trans woman saying it's better to date trans.
So the question I'm laying out, let me say it one more time, right? In reference to free speech and what's permissible, right? What's permissible in regards to be able to say out loud. I disagree, Pubs, only in a sense, and even though I have a great deal of respect for you, I think if a cis woman came out and said, I am a more viable option, my group is a more viable option to date, there would be public outcry. There would be a public outcry in regards to that. I have no issue with the trans woman trying to make their case in regards to why they are a more viable option. I don't think the pendulum would swing equally on both sides. And in fact, we've seen evidence of that with JK and other people. And that's why I say free speech is important to me, because we should be able we, the populace, should be able to decide what should be debated and talked about in public. Right?
Yo, Back says, I'm coming, Mantis. That's what's up. Yeah, she's coming to Mars. Lainey says, I'm going to Mars hands down. That's right.
Elon is 100% not taking any of you to Mars. It's only going to be for rich people. You're going to be a serf. You're going to be serving.
Better alive as a serf than whatever the hell you guys are going to be when you become a mutant race of freaks down here in the pollution zone. She says, I hate him. They say that I hate him because he's ugly and gross and not funny and obnoxious. Have fun on Mars. Public, you would love Mars. What does that have to do with the video, Steve?
You'd have to see the video. So that's why I dropped the link. Drop the link and make your own decisions on it. I just want to see what the bounds of free speech are for any person. Because J.K. Rowling definitely got canceled. So I would want to see how people respond to this young person here. Now, you're excluding yourself from that group, Public. You're saying that this is wrong as well. But the video is still up on YouTube.
Well, I think YouTube is I hate to say this word, but problematic. Because they are also somebody who does not equally enforce their rules.
Wait, Pubs, that's a false equivalency. JK, I never said anyone was going to go to jail for anything. I'm saying that unless you're calling social media being banned jail, I'm saying why is one allowed to be discussed with one person not being called a hate monger and the other is allowed to be discussed without that person being called a hate monger? That's my point. Allow the audience to decide what's hateful and what's disgusting. That's my only point. But you'll see what I'm saying when you click the video.
I actually can't wait to watch the video. I can't wait to end this episode so I can watch this video.
We're gonna watch it together afterwards. I'm gonna record your response to it.
Sorry, guys, I gotta bail. That's all right. The episode is coming to an end, Matt. But thank you so much. He says, "Sorry, guys, I gotta bail. This is a great stream. YouTube, pay those gentlemen." F that Skylar guy. Hell yeah, Matt. You live the dream, brother. Keep up the good work. Love you, brother.
Public says not allowed by who? Well, that's the real question, Public. Who calls for the cancellation or removal of content? Is it the people or is it the platform?
I do not need to watch a video to see the vitriol in the comments. Says.
No, actually, you know what, Public? I went through the comments on this video, or at least the person who's commentating on it, and then I went to the original one. There's not a lot of like shenanigans going on. It's not Wild Wild West. That's the one thing I can say. Both comment sections, commentator and the person who posted the original video, not a lot of Wild Wild West stuff. It's actually pretty respectful. Ready to dip? Let's get the fuck out of here.
I am, because I can't wait to watch the video. But this has been a spirited, awesome discussion. I'm glad that I've peered into the souls of so many of you. I'm looking through them right now. It's fucked. But this has been a good time. Everything from Henry Cavill to Twitter beef. Lainey, you have a good night. Public, thank you so much for stopping in. We'll talk about my payment plan.
Social capital.
Matt Cat, thank you for stopping in. Everyone else, such as Hannah Banana, Shaolin Iceboxer, and all the rest of you in RM. We love you all. Live the dream. Remember to tune in to Rogue Planet tomorrow. And I think I'm going to go back to doing What's that show I do? Oh, Brunch with the Fat Mantis. Why don't we do that tomorrow? We got that and a Rogue Planet tomorrow. You are extra in luck. Steve, when are you streaming next?
So tomorrow's Wednesday, so we'll be doing Dope Dynamics. We're actually going to be doing a deeper dive on this very video. I'm talking to the Pink Princess and Cincy Star. Dope Dynamics, the place where we're not scared to take the conversation to wherever it needs to go.
Loose ass places.
You're gonna go there.
Princess Beck says fangirls for fanboys. Public says good night, losers. Yes, you owe me money, bro. Where the fuck's my money? Oh, great. This joke. I need to pay them. I need to pay them as fast as possible. Or I will never end. It will never end. Pubs will constantly be like, "Yeah, where the fuck's my money, motherfucker?" They're gonna pull out a switchblade and they're gonna do the backhand thing. They're gonna get a pimp hat. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh my god.
But guys, remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, ring that notification bell. Keep tuning in to Fanboy Modeling School, and of course, Fight Juice Online. We got a lot of great streams, a lot of good fun on this channel. We love you all. Until next time, ciao for motherfucking now. Never pay me back, please. Oh God, I'm gonna go take out a loan from like a real.